Welcome to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Personally, for myself, I really am. It's a great place to live. My family's happy here. I was Coach Rhule for a long time.
I thought we were really efficient on offense. I thought we were able to both run the ball and throw the ball. The one caveat to that is that when the quarterback's not live, sometimes guys are blitzing and running by, and I'm saying stay off them. So, to stop a guy like Dylan, you're going to have to get to the quarterback and affect the quarterback. So there's probably a lot of plays where, guys are blitzing, they have to pull up. And I just think on defense, a lot of good things being done on defense. I just think we have to continue to tackle. We have some elite running backs, and it's really hard to tackle those guys. And so our tackling is something that has to improve based upon we did a Wednesday short yardage live period and today's live period, and we just need those reps. It's the first week of tackling. We're gonna have to really improve that this week. You think about it, really 5 more practices till training camp is over, and 9 practices until we start game week.
As we welcome you into Hurrdat Sports, you are looking live, brought to you by Central Federal Credit Union.
I didn't know if you were going to be leading off or if I should.
That voice you hear, I don't mind. I acquiesce because I hate my own voice. So because I don't like it, I typically efficient on offense. I'm a good number 2. But for the time being, as that voice you heard, that's our man Action Jackson.
Is that
Ooh, I'll take that.
Live,
it's a long time ago. Is that Carl Weathers, Shane, that played Action Jackson in that movie? I think it's in the 80s.
Yes.
Remember Carl Weathers, the old Apollo?
Carl Weathers,
Creed.
Yeah. Well, then also Happy Gilmore. You want to go down there?
R.I.P. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Former Raider.
Wasn't that last year?
I don't know, man.
You don't know?
I'm horrible at Dead or Alive.
Ooh.
Like the worst. You'd pick me for a lot of things. Don't pick me for that.
Yeah. I'm going to adjust this camera really quick. Give me 1 second.
Officially last place coming in is with Dead or Alive as we welcome you into a Monday show. Lots and lots going on. We heard the audio from Coach Rhule talking about the practice, what's going on, the tempo. We're trying to read through Morse code. Wait, you listen for Morse code, don't you?
Yeah, you listen. It's the
is it
dot
dash?
Yeah. No, I thought there was plenty of Morse code in what Troy Dannen had to say.
Yeah, he's fantastic. He's out here today.
So there we go.
Arguably, two of the most important people of the weekend. Troy Dannen and Coach X.
Plenty to get in there.
We're out
for sure. I do like that.
I mean, we're out here, right? It's where the magic happens.
I will say it's very nice being on this side of the table, but I do feel a little disoriented because usually I'm looking to my right when I'm, co-hosting.
Are you cool?
No, I'll figure it out. I'll adjust.
Sure? So I think historically, Shane, correct me if I'm wrong, my co-host has always been to my right. Since 2012, since forever.
Really?
Yeah, because the one chair in my former life was the first chair when you walk in, and I was never the one.
Yeah.
So I've always been to the left.
Always on the left side?
So I think that's how this started.
Even
with AR.
Even with like CWS and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Always went
so even when you're like alternative roadmap, all that sort of. What about in the booth?
Yeah, I'm everybody's to my right. So it goes myself, then the voice, and then BMAC is in the other corner.
Did you notice that right away?
That I inherited.
Okay, gotcha.
For the network.
Yeah, the network was just.
I certainly wasn't going to come in and rock the boat.
Could you imagine looking at Greg first day and be like, "Hey, I'm going to set up.
I'm more comfortable being on the other side." He'd have looked at me and been like, "From Omaha to Ogallala to Scotts Bluff, wherever you are," he just kept it moving, went right over me. Which, by the way, was probably one of the greatest sharp-isms ever, was to mention each city.
I always like that. And you could pick it in, too.
Yeah, right? Before you enjoy the tunnel walk. And I was like, oh, my God, I get goosebumps.
Well, I was always listening because whenever he would say Sydney, you get fired up.
Yeah, Mr. 308.
Yeah, try to, Someone on KSID listening, you just got to be ready for it.
Yeah, I told you. I did an event last year. And
did you go out west?
And you were very popular.
That can't be true.
Yeah,
those people don't even know who I am.
Former employers. I was like, yeah, we stole that guy.
Oh, now I know.
I'm like, I don't know if we can keep him. He moonlights everywhere, but
That is true. That is the toughest part. I'll tell you what, these TVs are like
So-
all over the place.
Ravi has a ton of strengths.
Mhm.
Perhaps his strongest is navigating that monster right there. I know you laughed at me. You're like, I said, hey, can you work the iPad?
Well, I for sure
And you
can.
probably were thinking,
I'd have to Google it.
Yeah, that too.
but now you know, and
Mhm.
he can do it really fast.
Well, and he can do it while doing this show, which I feel like is not my strong suit right now.
Are
Because
you
we're trying to change it from what, TBS over here?
are you not a multitasker?
I can, but it depends on sometimes, like if my brain's firing, like I want to focus on one thing a little bit more.
Yeah.
Then when I get the second task handed to me, it just gets put on the back burner. So I'm more focused on that.
Well,
So that's why I'm trying to focus on, being a good number 2 for you right now.
Yeah.
Say we're both like, we'd be 1.5s together. We can handle that, right?
So here's the yes, yeah, I'll share.
All right, I'm ready.
Share and share alike. But you can multitask. I watched you Friday, and
Oh.
everybody talks about you're kind of like the mayor.
I don't know about
But I think I attribute it to being versatile.
Mm.
Like that, if I had to guess, I think
Well,
I think you're just versatile.
I'm glad you brought that up because first off, the outfit you pulled off at Pinnacle Bank Championship,
Oh,
incredible,
man.
incredible fit. I saw you. I barely recognized you. I didn't even know who you were when you first walked in that pavilion tent.
So can I just tell you something?
Yeah, let's go.
Did I tell you this story? This is absolute truth. There's a lot of DB things
Mhm.
where you're like, man, that's definitely DB. This is the most DB thing ever. So I have to work myself up into kind of that environment, right?
Mhm.
It's a lot. There's a ton of people. It's hot. Although the heat doesn't. That's like tertiary.
It was thick out there.
It was.
Yeah.
You should have seen this morning.
Was it bad? I've only been out for like minutes at a time.
We started pre-practice at 5:15 with centers, quarterbacks, and backs, and it was muggy, like bogues. Like I'm like, this little dude is everywhere.
Yeah.
But so originally, I had on, my shorts had pockets, which sometimes is kind of rare. I went with the black long sleeve and my black Hurrdat zip up.
Mm-hmm.
So I pulled out of my driveway. I got to the stop sign. I'm already having a little anxiety because Sasha had to leave my credentials and parking pass at the gate.
Yep.
And she said, hey, just go to lot O. And I'm like, okay, is that from the 196 side or is that from the 204 side? All these things are going through my mind. And I don't like that. I like to just kind of I'm super incognito. I just like to kind of sneak in and do my thing, right?
Yep.
So I sat at the stoplight and I go, fudge. I'm like, people are going to ask me why I'm dressed like this. They're not going to understand that I like sleeves, just like today, right? I put long sleeves under anything. So I put the car in reverse and I pulled back in my house and I said, I'm going to dress like a regular person, a normal person. So that's why you saw the button up. And I mean, I used to wear, for 12 years, I wore a suit.
Yeah.
Right.
Which,
But,
I mean, I'm glad we're past that stage.
So-
Because, like, I couldn't be wearing a suit or something nicer than what I was
yeah,
wearing.
I wondered, like, if I went back into admin or if I did anything of substance, consider.
It's not even true. Come on now.
Oh.
You said
What
you
I-
had,
what-
like, you
I
had
don't-
5 a.m. practice.
I
Come on now.
still don't know if I would go back to being a tie guy.
Is that still a thing in that position?
Yeah, I would imagine so. I mean, you want to look, and I like to look sharp. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the only reason I was dressed that way, because I thought it was going to draw less attention.
Yeah.
Turns out it drew more attention.
I'm always curious, too, like, and I know this has been a topic of conversation before, but we saw Mac out on the course a couple times at 17.
Yeah.
But he used to be a big suit guy,
Yeah.
right? Like, he was always suited up no matter where he went. Everyone's doing pullovers now and doing that sort of thing. I don't have a problem with it. I think they look nice. I wore golf pants on Thursday out there, and yeah, I was warm. People thought I was crazy.
Yeah.
Everyone was asking me if I was okay, if I didn't have laundry, like if my washer broke or something. No, it's just what I had. It's just what I chose to wear.
I did not want to be the guy.
Yeah.
That like got all the questions. So I'm like, Then turns out it did. So it's like, it was a heck of an event. That was the longest 2 to 4 ever.
Oh yeah, that was a day. That was a day in itself too. But Pinnacle Bank Championship wrapped up. It was a really good time. And on top of that too, I don't know if you caught, but Sports Center Top 2, that was a Hurrdat sports clip made it out
How
there.
about that?
Yeah, we'll take that.
I
You met Christian, right?
Oh yeah,
The video guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was him.
He's sensational.
Oh yeah, the
So
best.
I said this in passing on Friday. It's like I forgot how. This is a total humble brag, but it's not me because I can't do anything, so it's not really about me. I forgot how good we are with media and capturing video and reproducing content. Like it's silly. That's what we do. It's a multimedia company, and it just came to me when we were doing the video breakdown on Friday, and you guys just like hopped in, and I'm like, holy smokes, I forgot what we're capable of.
Which we can get to more. I sent you.
You got some things.
I do got some things in there. We don't have to get to them right away. We can get to them when we need to. So I've got them loaded up and whatever we need there. But yeah, it's gonna be I'm looking forward to what we can do with that in the future too. Because you were breaking down the first time a preseason clip from Anthony Richardson. I mean, how could you not want more of that DB film breakdown when we get into like in season and stuff too? And I know you're going to be pumped up too. The problem now is on Rico and I, because now we've got to be able to follow through, be able to get it.
No,
and
that's
I want to get you the full button layout too, because that's what everyone was talking about. Oh, we got to see, the circles. We got to see what you're seeing and the lines and paint it out.
Yeah.
And if we can download an all 22, that would be ideal. I want to make it like Playbook with Brian Baldinger, but do Playbook with DB. That's what I would like.
The crazy thing is until I saw the numbers that it generated.
Yeah.
You heard me the whole time trying to talk us
to move
out
on.
of
Yeah.
talk us out of getting out of it.
Yeah.
But I forget with a lot of the visuals,
Mm-hmm.
it works, right? Because I mean, for years I did the breakdown with just words.
Yeah,
I did
right.
a breakdown.
Mm-hmm.
This is vastly different. It's much more natural for me because this is how I prefer. But what it did help me do, I'm not going to kid you. It really helped me describing stuff on radio with words without people being able to see, made the transition a lot easier from television to radio.
Yeah.
Because I don't say I don't assume you can see.
Mm-hmm.
But I had to get in the habit after getting off of television, because when you're on TV, it's like you're looking at what I'm looking at. So I can just freely talk. With radio, you have to be, you're much more self-conscious about painting the picture, and not, or as Shane would say, picture, and not assuming anything. So, I mean, we'll get to a few more videos.
Yeah.
But asking you shall receive. I'm going to say this and move on because, again, I don't have to do the work. I just have to know what I'm talking about. If there's stuff like you guys want to see and it happens throughout the course of a week, fire those over, because what the plan is to get together on a Sunday here out at the sports bar, pre-kickoff, maybe during NFL games, where I'll come out here with some of the guys, Kenny Bell, some of these guys, and we'll just do a breakdown. It'll be like a true. It won't be DB's breakdown. It'll be DB and KB and Ravi or whomever. I don't know. I'm just.
You want Ravi to break down a play?
It's just kind of an epiphany. But I will say this: the reason that segment worked was because of his questions.
Yeah.
I mean, not only are you guys moving and plucking and plotting, his questions invited the discussion, so I knew what to say, because then it recalibrated me, like, oh, okay, not everybody knows this, so let me back up. See, I need that. That's why I'm a better 2 than a 1.
Right.
I'd rather, facilitate than dictate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So I'm curious about that. So like you go and do public speaking, right? Like you're out and doing stuff. Does that ever throw you off, or because it's just your groove, you're doing your thing?
So not at all. But I will say this, unless I have a topic that they want me to talk about, I probably won't know what I'm going to say until about 10, 15 minutes before I get up there.
That's how I prefer doing stuff too. Yeah.
Because you have to kind of know the audience. You have to kind of get a feel. There's probably a handful of things you have in store. Like I'll go out to to Holy Ghost or in Nebraska City or wherever, and you just kind of don't know.
Yeah.
And sometimes you'll get someplace and people just want to fire questions. So it's like there's zero script. And that's actually how I prefer.
Mm-hmm.
I always joke with people like, can't read a teleprompter. For years, when I did endorsements, just give me the bullet points.
Yep.
I cannot read.
Mm-hmm.
I'm super Ron Burgundy. I need Shane to like blow stuff up here.
Yeah.
Like, so for me to read and talk at the same time is not good. It's not good at all. I have a tremendous amount of respect for the Kuglers and the Severes and those guys that can like do shows and read teleprompters. That's not for your boy.
I'll tell you what, I saw my guy Matt Tilly out, KTV's own.
Arguably the nicest guy in sports.
Dude, the best.
He's just good natured.
You got to see him though when he's back in the media room working. He's got the smallest pair of headphones I've ever seen in the world, and he does the over the head, not AirPod, nothing like that.
He's a runner.
Yeah, that I've told him the times you guys have brought him up when you've seen him out and about.
And listen, he's far from home. Like, I would see him right on the corner of 24th and Harney. The studio, the station, is on 8th and Pacific. He's moving now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, right on by.
Yep.
It's easy breezy.
He's cruising.
Yeah. Hey, he's good at what he does, man. But you hear the voice. Ravi's taking care of a few things.
Yep.
Hoping he's okay.
So I'm sitting in for Ravi, obviously. DB's here. We got a big week coming up too. High school football kicking off.
Yeah.
And Sauter's out, Camp Confidentials. We'll be at Westside tomorrow.
Yeah. Are you coming for the early one?
I think we're the late one.
Well, that's not going to be any fun.
Come on. We got stuff to do in the morning.
Yeah, that's true. Some of us do.
I'll be replacing you for the first hour tomorrow.
Yeah, some of us do have jobs. So it's easy for me when defense goes first, I can work it out. When defense goes,
you set the tone.
That's the way I prefer it. Yeah. But now
Are you only in pads right now, or just shells?
So we're in just helmets for 2 days, maybe 3, 2. We can't even use sleds right now. Yeah.
Oh, really? Because contact.
It's very spelled out. So we're trying to do things and still get ready. So it's pretty exciting.
At this point, you're past the point of install, right? Like you're doing like actual some skill stuff.
Yeah. We're trying to get ready for week 1 and still sprinkling fundamentals. But the cool thing is, it's interesting that you're going to be at Westside tomorrow because it's like 5:20. We're going through pre-practice and like 3 of our Owen James is like, "Where's Sauter?" And it didn't dawn on me.
Yeah.
Because I thought you were talking about a player on our team.
Yeah.
And I don't
different team.
I didn't want to say anything. And I'm like, shoot, what was for the win? What was he talking about? It's like Sauter. I was like, oh, he's probably expecting Jerome to be at practice. Yep. I'm like, this is awful early. Although he has been to a few of our morning practices in the past years.
He started his morning today, I think, at Gretna East.
Oh yeah. Yeah. They're gonna be right there in the hunt for.
Yeah.
They'll make a state title run. That's gonna be highly competitive.
Oh, B's a lot of fun. I don't think I've talked as much high school football with just like generic people who ask.
Yeah.
Than Class B like this year.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be interesting too because it didn't take long for them for the animosity to build towards East.
Yes.
I'm like,
everyone was riding with them. They had to drive out to Gearing last year, and then as soon as you make a quarterfinal, they're done.
Well, you know what happens? you can't win.
Well, yeah.
Everybody loves a lovable story. Hey, new little plucky high school.
Yep.
I get it. It's out there in the other land of milk and honey, but they only had 2 grades that they started, and it was like no seniors, and it was kind of a feel-good deal. Then you start winning, playing for championships. It's like.
What have you had that problem before? Is it talking from experience?
No, not at all. I'm just saying. Well, this is the first time for this many years that I've been on the other side.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I enjoy it, but fantastic show coming up today. We'll try to keep you entertained. Huge weekend in terms of Nebraska's closed scrimmage, NFL exhibition. Get your thoughts on what you take away from NFL and exhibition season. And then
I also had some Huskers balling out too.
Yeah, whether it's volleyball,
Yeah.
football, and some concerns. We heard the audio. By the way, I always like to ask you.
Yeah.
How was your weekend?
It was great. It was a good time. I stayed busy. I worked all weekend.
You had
I was just TikTok boy all weekend. AB just sent me out wherever she needed me. I was out on the course wherever I was needed.
I tell you, she's a little mighty mite, isn't she?
Yeah.
Small in stature, like big in presence. I'm like,
no, she's intimidating.
I think
don't let her know that I said that.
I think it's her delivery.
Yeah.
There's a lot of brevity to it. Yeah. No. Okay. Yeah.
Well, she's one of those too. You're in this. I just want to let you know.
The yeah makes you think that you hurry along now.
You're in this category too.
I doubt
if I get a text from you, AB, Sasha included too, and it's got like a period punctuation at the end of the sentence, I'm nervous.
Yeah,
I'm terrified that I did something wrong.
It's funny.
There's not many people in my life that I can say that about.
Sasha did a lot of the cart. She like got me from the parking lot, and we're driving, and we probably got stopped like a handful of times.
Yep.
And she's like, "Man, I don't know how you do it, and this, that, and the other." And we were just talking about like what the perception is, and I'm like, "Yeah, isn't it weird? Like, you should just tell these people." Not that important. Just tell them. Sasha look him dead in her eye and say, "Do you know how many times I've cussed this dude out? You know how many times I told him what he needs to be doing at his job? Not that big of a deal." And she's like, "Oh, no." I'm like, "Oh, okay. Don't downplay it like you haven't cussed me out a couple times because I'm not doing what I'm supposed to."
Well, no. So
my favorite is, "Oh, you kind of need to grow up."
Yeah. Okay, so
those hurt.
How did you survive the storms we got? That Friday night. That was brutal.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thursday, Friday.
So Saturday morning early, I bet you I was in the driveway cleaning up in the early 6s, probably 6:15. There's still probably a little loose potting soil.
Yeah,
but for the most part, there were branches, there were trees split. I went to go meet Les out at 120th and Portal Road. But I was coming from, why did I go down 132nd? Anyway, I had to pass the golf course right down the street.
Yeah.
And that place, trees down. I didn't realize real time, although my emergency broadcast thing went off on the phone, which is the only reason why I was up at 4:30.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Wasn't that wild?
That was insane. And I know it's like a.
Do you know what I thought it was?
I thought it was a tornado.
I thought it was an Amber Alert.
Okay, same thing. So Dr. Girlfriend came out of the room and she was like, "Are we supposed to go look for someone?"
Yeah.
I was like,
I thought it was going to be an Amber Alert. So, but then you could hear because when I first caught, no pun intended, wind of it, it was just the wind.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize how much it had rained.
Yeah, that was.
Did you see like down north, like over by the landing and Open Door Mission, the flooding?
Well, in Lincoln too. I mean, they had like standing water across like most town, from what I heard.
So I don't understand. I get it; it's flat.
Yeah.
Like Lincoln is ridiculously flat, but where did the water come from? Was it the creek?
Well, the rain.
It can't just be the rain.
Well, I feel like.
Or is the drainage system that?
It
sketch?
could be that, but I think I'm from a very dry part of the state, obviously, but anytime, yeah, that too. Anytime that it would rain enough that it soaks up in that dirt, then once it rains on top of it again. So if it had, enough rain where everything got moisturized that way and it just sat on top of it, that's probably where it came from. So it could be partly the drainage, but it might just be like sitting on top of the lawns and everything that it just didn't run off.
So how'd they snap out of it?
I don't know. See, I didn't go through Lincoln at all.
Shane, did you send me the Monday rundown? That'd be cool.
I could.
No, it's okay.
Yes. I can resend it to you.
Yeah, do that.
Yeah.
I mean,
we got Sam at 8.
Howard
Griffith at 9.
Heaven forbid. Yeah. So we'll talk to Sam McKewon from the Omaha World Herald at 8, like AJ just said. Action Jackson, and hopefully Howard. He got a little bug in his ear this time. 0 for 2 with Howard.
Yeah.
And he got caught up the first day. We went right back to him the next day.
Yep.
So this one was like, hey, I thought we were boys.
Did you check in with him? Did he come down for the Big Ten crew when they were down here?
Yeah. So it was funny. Somebody posted.
Do you have to pull him by the collar? You're like, hey.
No, I don't mess with him. He's super fit now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks like he went from like that fullback type to Oh no, he kind of looks. I'm not gonna say. Well, I might. Kind of looks like a kicker.
Ooh.
He's little.
That's rough. That's mean.
Yeah,
You can't be saying that.
I remember.
Not about a former fullback.
So I used to work with him at BTN, but then he came down a couple of times because his son was being recruited by Nebraska. Before he decided, I think he ended up deciding on Notre Dame. This was Riley years, late Riley, post Frost. So, got a chance to really. That's how I met Ryan Clark, because Clark's son was there. They had some fellas on campus even back then before they were really winning. Because I mean, contrary to popular belief, they didn't stick around, but like Riley recruited better than we gave it credit for.
Yeah,
right. Just getting some of those guys on campus.
Listen, I was born in that era. I mean, that's all the Calabrasca stuff, all the 4-stars you saw rolling in. That was the time. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. So
it was the most fun time to be online for Nebraska media.
I got my fingers crossed that he won't let us down. Have you been watching the camp tours?
As
The
much as I
BT
can be, yeah.
Yeah.
But obviously, I was plugged in for the Nebraska one. I did check. Were they at like Michigan or something recently that I saw their stuff? I'm always super interested when anyone's talking about Michigan this offseason because I'm not.
Yeah,
high
I
on them.
remember you produced when we were back at headquarters, and that was the team. Correct me if I'm wrong. You said you thought had the biggest variance between expectations and what it could be.
I mean, you even see the 14 in the coaches poll. I probably wouldn't preseason ring. I'd probably give him 25 just to be nice. But
Yeah.
that's Iowa's spot, in my opinion. But, I mean, I just don't know. If you can't score, you can play as good as defense as you can. We've seen this before, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've seen it with our own team. You can play as great defense as you can for 58 minutes, but in those last 2 minutes, if you don't have 14 points on the board, another team's going to come up and sneak past you.
So it's Michigan's offense that has you, because we just don't
Michigan's
know.
Passing game too. I don't trust that the Bryce Underwood experience is going to be as fruitful as everyone's assuming it will be in the first year. And they won some games last year just by pounding the rock. That USC game was incredible.
That was just on Big Ten and 60.
Yeah, it's
or football and 60 on BT.
Under 2 minutes left, and you're on your own 35, and you just keep pounding the rock because that was their best offense at the time.
Yeah, so there's a couple of teams and kind of going through this the on 60s, and you're reading the preseason mags, and you're trying to get an idea because we haven't seen anything.
Yeah.
So there's 3 teams that I think are super interesting for different reasons about the same thing.
In Big Ten?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you Illinois, Michigan, and SC.
Okay.
SC is one of those teams that I think is going to be better than most people think. I could see them getting to the double-digit win mark, right? I think
Schaefer's with you on that.
I believe in kind of Lincoln Riley.
Mm-hmm.
He's won a ton. I think they could be better. We act as though we know what he's done, and it's still not good enough. He is not getting the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
And he kind of has of the 3 that I'm going to talk about, the most proven track records of success. Michigan is getting the benefit of the doubt, which is interesting because they have so many new pieces, and you have a 1.5-year new head coach, right? Not even a half. It's like we're still learning, but they get the benefit of the doubt. But for years, Michigan did not. It was going to be they're going to win their 10, they're going to lose their 2. They didn't get the benefit of the doubt. And then there's Illinois. We know everything. We know everything we need to know about Illinois, and they don't get the benefit of the doubt. So isn't it like? Do you agree with kind of those 3 synopses of the 3?
Yeah,
Lincoln Riley is not getting the benefit of the doubt. You agree with that?
Yeah, people are putting him more on the hot seat than they would. The other way. Yeah,
right.
You're right.
And
there are more people saying that he's more likely to get fired than have a breakout.
Yeah. You could agree Michigan is getting the benefit of the doubt.
I'm in that. Yeah. I'm in the anti-camp of that, but yeah.
And then Illinois brings back a ton, and it's like, I don't know.
I'm always curious.
So we're real fickle about like the benchmarks.
Well, I'm always curious too, and I know this was a comment from Rhule a couple of weeks. It was Big Ten Media Days when people asked him about the your comments on when it comes to close losses and all that sort of stuff, like how do you get over that trend? And I loved his comment. I think I said it to Ravi too on the show, that I love that his comment was just, hey, we weren't good enough to win those games.
Yeah.
When it comes to Illinois, everyone points to last year and they're like, oh, all these one-score wins, They won the game, did they not?
Mm-hmm.
And I get it. There are different ways to win football games, and there are sometimes you can point and be like, okay, that's a little bit different than what we were expecting, a 9-3 or a 10-2 team to look. I feel like I could trust Illinois a little bit more because of the one-score games, where a lot of people are pointing the opposite direction because that's where the variance levels go. That's where, you can see. I know our guy like Brett Ciance with Pick Six Previews, sometimes he'll say those one-score games will flip one way or the other. And on one season, you want to see more consistency on double-digit wins over, highly touted teams or average teams and that sort of stuff. I feel more confident in putting Illinois in that 4 spot where a lot of people aren't. But it's 5 through 9 that I've always had trouble with so far leading into the year.
Hey, Liquid, what day did we settle on for Brett?
I'm told we settled on Tuesday, so probably tomorrow.
Tuesday works.
I think we're getting him next week, actually. I was just talking to him. He was asking about it, so I think we're starting him week 0.
He's pretty happy.
Yeah.
He's like, because we talk. Sometimes he'll hop on these live streams with a couple guys, and sometimes I'll hop in and listen. And
were you in one of those not too long ago?
This last week.
Okay, that's right. I thought I remembered you saying that.
Yeah.
You were saying you just
so he
jumped into one.
Well, he's got some analytics buddies that do forecasting and game predictions and stuff. And I mean, they were in the weeds, week 1, week 2 plays and what teams are bringing back. It's pretty thorough.
Mm-hmm.
And for Brett to be as kind of smart as he is and know as much as he does, he almost was like the fourth wheel of the 4.
Yeah.
I'm like, shoot, these guys must be pretty sharp.
And also,
if Brett's going to be the one that talks the least.
Great dude. He, I saw another guy in the area was tweeting out about, what preseason magazines you buy. And I replied, I was like, I'm a Phil Steele guy through and through. I didn't realize Pick Six had their own magazine. I thought that they were just a digital format. Brett DMs me, sends it to me.
Oh, yeah.
It's incredible.
Rico's
mad about it because he hasn't gotten one yet, but that's on him.
I never want to take money out of anybody's hands.
Yeah.
But I have both. But I think I have to Rico would have to unlock it if I sent it to him.
Yeah,
I think.
Right.
I don't think I could just Brett's pretty smart. It's not you're not just going to be forwarding.
Well, Rico's
got to
support the show, right? He's got to be able. He can chill out. He'll be good.
Yeah. Well, I need to get on Rico about. He actually wore those glasses in public Friday. I was like,
Hurrdat glasses,
the orange ones. Yeah.
What's wrong with that? You don't like them? You're not a fan?
My man gives 0 cares. He rocks whatever, however.
So he's getting a haircut today.
Yeah, we got to do something.
Have you heard his haircut issues?
What's going on?
So every time Rico cuts his hair, something terrible happens to one of the teams that he watches or is a fan of. So he cuts his hair game 6 of the Knicks Celtics series. Obviously, they beat the Celtics, but then get demolished in the finals.
Oh, suave superstitious. That's cute.
Then he said he cuts his hair leading down to the Husker volleyball Final Four, losing the semifinal. And he has all these other ones that he's laid out to Ravi and I. And we told him, hey, you got to schedule these in mid-June. You can't be putting these out in front of us. So he scheduled it for today. So I'm kind of hoping Rhule cancels practice, DBK, everyone gets a day off.
Well, I can tell you practice isn't being canceled. Them guys were opening up the stadium at 6. So there's a lot of those guys that are already there.
If they get out there early, we're good. Because I think his haircut's at 3, so he should be fine. But yeah.
What could go wrong? What could go wrong?
Yeah, why not?
See, I'm gonna let you set the guidelines. Do you want to take a call in the first segment?
That's up to you. Listen, I'm just here for the ride, man. I'm just here.
I'm gonna give it 15 more minutes, and I will officially not be the one anymore. I already can see how this is gonna go.
Well, Robbie's got me all the reads and stuff.
Listen, hey, so after the next break, do your thing.
Oh, don't put that on me.
Do your thing.
Putting the ball in my hand. All right.
It's like we're on the 4x1 stick.
Yeah.
You
put me on the final leg or curve.
I'd like to be the anchor.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah,
we'll let you start this
we'll
thing.
Let you anchor.
I like it when you're the one.
It's more my humor. That's all. It's every opportunity to not be funny.
It's a little bit more slower paced. It's a little bit more relaxed.
Wow, Ravi speak too fast? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, it's just a little
He's
bit more.
just used to being Ravi being so
Shane's
surly.
kicking Ravi while he's down right now.
No,
Ravi is
I'm giving.
extremely mean to him, but
Yeah.
he's trying to give me credit.
Right.
I think.
I'm giving Damon. It's a little bit more relaxed when you're the 1A.
Oh,
that's fair.
thank you, Shane. That's very kind of you. Your check's in the mail.
Let's get to TK.
All right, let's see what my man TK's got for me. TK, good
morning.
Suave. Everybody's got a magazine but me. He capped it. I got you, Suave. Don't worry. TK, what's up, champ?
How we doing?
We are good, man. Your boy has got it down to the minute when I have to leave the high school to get here on time. I got some
job.
farm fresh
Good job.
eggs this morning, man. I'm okay.
You know what? I'm perfect because apparently Shane has me saved as a contact for the Hurrdat phone.
Nice. That's great.
Does he really?
Do you
Oh,
get
your-
because he
Officially
said
made it.
hello when you picked it when
Hey,
he
TK.
answered.
Yes.
Wow.
It's
I've
been a while
officially
since
made
you
it.
called in, TK. I don't think I've
Yeah,
heard
I
from
have
you
this
since
thing called
the
work.
whatever. Hey, how'd the bar go?
Whipped it.
It got done. I won't figure out if I passed or not until mid-September.
Wait a minute. Aren't you guys supposed to be the smart guys? What takes so long to grade a test?
Well, the first day of the test, DB, is 6 hours of essay questions.
Who's
And
reading
there- and
those?
it-
Chat GTBI? What is it? I don't know what it is.
So there's like 10 lawyers who
Chat FBI?
or like 12 lawyers who grade all of them for the state of Kansas. And their infinite wisdom, they don't want to spread out their money anymore, so they only let 10 people do it.
That is nuts.
Yeah.
I was today years old.
I'm used to the MCAT experience, but the bar a little bit different.
Well, I just know the more abbreviations you use, typically the smarter the people are. So this is way above my head.
Yeah, it's really funny because most of those people don't know what it means, what the abbreviations mean either. They just use them.
Well, I would be in that. I would be in that category.
I know most of those, the SATs, the CATs, all those. I can give you the first letter. Can't give the rest after that.
Yeah, you know how smart I
That's
am.
all that matters.
We use cat and dog on the football field, and it's to symbolize inside outside. Dogs use the bathroom outside. Cats pee inside. That's how smart I am. How is that
That's actually
for
pretty clever.
smarts?
That's pretty clever.
I like that.
All right,
No,
that is
It's better. That's better than like
way to make me feel good.
indigo. It's indigo, which is everybody's inside call.
I
Because
do.
people aren't
Yeah.
smart enough to do it.
I do like those
something
ones-
on the ground versus
Yeah.
something in the air. It's
Or-
like, come on, guys.
When they're giving out like base calls and they're calling essentially just right and left. They're just like, oh, it's Rover. Oh, it's Larry. Okay, I think we know which way we're going. Figured it out.
All right, what's on your mind, TK?
Okay, so something that's been bugging me. I understand everybody has PTSD from Nebraska football, but I believe that I've heard a story from one Damon Benning saying that back in the vaunted 90s, that there were lots of times where one side of the ball in practice would annihilate the other side of the ball.
100%.
But that side of the ball that got annihilated was still pretty good.
That much is correct.
Is that's correct?
That is correct.
Okay, well, Buck, if we all really like the O-line, then the D-line can't, we can't be judging the D-line too bad if they're playing against what lots of people believe to be a top 5, what I believe a top 2 offensive line in the Big Ten, which has the best O-lines.
Oh, top 2, huh?
Interesting.
Top
Lots
2,
to dig
huh?
in there. Yeah.
All right.
Yes, top 2.
Well, I'd say
don't-
this.
I'm not super worried about Cincinnati and their second round pick.
So TK,
in
are
the
you
interior.
who's saying this from?
Who's won, TK?
I would probably go Penn State.
I don't know. Iowa's pretty good.
Yeah, I was solid.
Iowa's offensive line is really good. Huh?
Their
Top
center
2.
needs to get his snaps a little bit more straight. He was making Mr. Gronowski look really bad over the weekend.
Well,
Well,
how
that's
about
just that's
hey?
just
How about their
practice
social media team?
Ooh.
Good on them.
tough.
Man.
Balls are in the air and everybody's excited. I get it though, right? If you're a fan,
Got 5 million views on an out route.
it's like
Nice.
fuck, they are chomping at the bit to go air raid Iowa City.
So
But
TK, where's this come from? Is this concern from like Nebraska's pass rush isn't performing well against Nebraska's offensive line in practice? Is that what you're saying, or is it Cincinnati's pass rush?
People just are kind of freaking out about, the defense is getting beat up in practice, according to anonymous reports.
Those are always the best.
Coach Rhule talking about tackling. Well, most people are going to struggle tackling except for like Georgia and Texas and probably Penn State in week 1. Every other team will probably struggle tackling because it's really hard to be good at tackling with 9 practices.
Yeah.
I will say this. I will say this in regards to that, TK. I think tackling is so important for these guys on defense. I think you'll see guys move freely on the depth chart due to the ability to tackle versus the inability to not tackle. So it is important.
Yeah, I'm sure
it is important.
He's pretty good at tackling.
He's pretty good at tackling. I'll give you that. He can tackle. That'll help him in the long run. We'll see. Like that.
And then my other media adjacent gripe is I keep hearing this thing that Cincinnati is going to run at Nebraska.
Yeah.
Yep.
Has any of these people saying this watched Cincinnati play football?
So listen, I intimated this to Sam, and we'll talk to him at 8. I have no idea where that came from. I don't know where I've heard it. I've heard it. I get it. Sorsby is mobile. He's really good. He's experienced. But that's not the same as lining up and running ISO and power and blast and it's just not. That's not what Satterfield. That's not what he's done.
Yeah, the form of quarterback run that we're describing is not the same as like power run football.
Yeah,
because people can look at
Blake Horvath is not coming out there.
No, they look at the depth chart, they look at the roster, they pull up Sorsby and they Google what his height and weight is. And you can see that, and a downhill runner always going to come at you. He was running A and B gap. He's going to run power. But that's not what their offense is. They're not going to line up and go under center fullback and run trap 3 times towards you. They're going to spread you out. They're going to try to open up gaps and try to make you move around a little bit. And they're trying to get you in a size disadvantage. That's what it is. And I don't think Nebraska will have to worry about a size disadvantage when it gets to that point. But in the sense that you're saying, it's not going to be just like downhill Iowa running football. We're not talking about the last week in November by any means.
He came off a 5-7 season a year ago, and a lot of 1-score games. And he's got he's swapped out the majority of his offensive line up front. I'm kind of in agreement with that, TK. I don't see that being Cincy's game plan, and partly because I think they're going to be pretty good outside the numbers. Like they got some guys that they can throw the ball to too. So I think they want Sorsby on the edge as a decision maker, as a dual threat guy, and then see what that gets him after that. That's just my guess. I mean, it's early. We'll see.
They don't have for them to be able to run the ball effectively, Brandon Sorsby is going to have to be an option every single play. Mm-hmm. And I like our defense's chances of hurting him enough because, I'm sure, even at the high school level, there's 2 guys. If you need to stop 2 guys, what's your number one thing? Go out there and hit them as hard as possible. Mm-hmm. I bet you they are not going to be running very fast in the fourth quarter. Yeah, they aren't going to want to take the read.
That's the name of the game. That's the name of the game. I appreciate the call, TK.
Thanks, TK.
Hey, we'll see you guys.
Hey, tell you what, let's take a quick break. I'm gonna come back.
I'm proud of you. Look at you taking a
Coach
break.
Coach Dannen. Troy Dannen had some interesting things to say as he took the podium. He's up here today. I just want to ask him, if you're going to have the fellas over for dinner yesterday, all of them.
No invite?
What kind of acreage we sitting on?
That's a good point.
I mean, how many tables and chairs do we have to rent? If you say none, then I know what we're dealing with.
That is true.
No, I didn't want to invite. I mean, I don't want to infringe upon those guys.
No, he had plenty of good comments. I'm interested in your thoughts on something that I heard that maybe went a little under the fray for what he had.
Yeah,
but
we'll take a quick break, come back with some comments before we get to Sam McKewon at the top of the hour. That's Action Jackson. I'm ODB. This is Hurrdat Sports Live.
A successful financial future is built one coin at a time. Whether you're just starting out or a seasoned saver, we've got the financial resources and team of experts who will be with you every step of the way. Centris Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
What was the most encouraging thing that you saw from some of the younger players today?
Just their confidence and when they got the ball, usually something positive happened. And if it didn't, then their body language and their communication was still really mature for freshmen, or Virginia, who's not a typical freshman, but she's still is, she's new here. So just really impressed with their overall maturity and confidence.
Did you get what you wanted to out of today?
Sure. Of course, it'd be nice to walk away from here and be like, oh, this was obvious. So-and-so should start, or, this person played great under pressure. But we wanted to have a lot of even teams and have a competitive game. And, we did that. And we saw some players step up in big moments, which was great. But it also showed a few things we have to work on, and that hopefully will be better in the alumni match next week.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Welcome back. Hurrdat Sports Live. I'm Austin. That's DB. Hurrdat Sports Live, brought to you by the NDOT. Using your seatbelt saves lives and prevents injuries. Only if it is properly worn. Buckle up, phone down. This message from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. Speaking of safety. One non-coach, Troy Dannen, was speaking.
Coach Dannen.
55 minutes up on the mic.
Yeah.
That was crazy. He was out there and he rattled off bullet points.
He's a tough, smart cookie.
At the firing range, going 35 minutes without a question. That was crazy.
I like how he said, I don't have much.
Yeah, I always tell you about the guys that preface something in speech.
Yep.
Where it's like, hey, not to sound racist. Clearly you're about to sound racist.
Right.
Or, hey, don't have much. Probably got a lot.
Yeah. Well, we have a good mutual friend that always hit someone with the not to get political, but
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. We do know that guy. Yeah, not to get political, but you're meaning to get political. Right. That's what happens. He piqued your interest, didn't he?
Yeah, and it was something that was almost offhanded, but he referenced it almost a couple of times, kept bringing it back. The first time I heard it, Dannen's talking a little bit about beefing up security at Memorial Stadium, just venue events, that sort of stuff.
Let's see if it's in this clip.
Okay, let's hear it.
And then let's see if it's in this clip. Shane, play clip 4 with Coach with Troy Dannen.
Double.
I want to talk about the Nebraska model for a second. I would tell you, now having been here about 18 months, the number one job that I have, and all of you think it's winning. And when I say I mean I and my team, our department, it's winning games. Now, faculty will tell you it's graduation and grade point averages, and the CFO will tell you it's balancing the budget. But the number one priority is protecting the financial model that I walked into, that had been developed over the years, a financial model that's possible because of those attendance numbers I talked about earlier. That's why the financial model is viable here. And that financial model is this. We don't take any student fees. We don't take any institutional subsidies. We don't take any state dollars. We pay full rack rate for scholarships. There's no out-of-state differential waivers. And we pay the last 2 years and this year again, $5 million back to the university as a subsidy. That financial model has to be protected at all costs. It's that financial model that allowed us to do essentially nothing draconian to get to the 20.5. And that 20.5 is growing 4% a year. That cost is going to continue. It allowed us to not raise ticket prices. It allowed us to not reduce the subsidy. It allowed us to keep budgets whole through the 24 sport lineup. That financial model is the fuse that's going to light whatever success we have. And so I will tell you, we will protect it at all cost.
Yeah. So that part, the Nebraska model, partly I had heard that a couple of times, like basically what he had said, right?
It's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Though. But keep going.
There was another point when he was talking about Memorial Stadium, beefing up security, all this other stuff, that he referenced that we had people from basically people he had brought in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Himself included, that had spent the full year at Memorial Stadium, been able to see what had gone on. And there were old habits that were continuing on that the new eyes noticed. And I thought it was interesting that we were hearing kind of that sort of comment. And yeah, it's in reference to security, but it's not. It's also in reference to other things. And he talked about that through 55 minutes. And the Nebraska model is another one of those things that this is how it's been done. But I have new eyes, and I'm here to show you, hey, there's other ways that we can get this done.
Shane, play clip 6. Let's see if Action Jackson's onto something.
I've been thrilled with everything that's happened, and I'm a governance nerd. I think they're doing a great job. There's a learning curve, and some people are going to embrace everything, and some people are going to fight everything, which makes it just that much harder for them. It needs to work. It has to work for the sake of the enterprise. It will and I say the enterprise, if we give it the chance, if we find the patience and tolerance to let this thing find its equilibrium, it'll work great. We've never demonstrated patience and tolerance. As soon as something happens that we don't like, we've tried to regulate it into a different direction. We just got to go through some growing pains. And that may prove to be, there may be some inequities, but I will tell you, I will take Nebraska's problems before anybody else's problems as we go through that. And that goes right back to the financial model. That goes right back. Everybody asks the role and the importance of the fans. It's showing up right now. It's showing up in rare form.
I'm going to keep setting you up.
Yeah.
So doubling down.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We're talking about what has been, and he gives you the positive. Hey, because of this financial model, it's been a lot like this. This has allowed us to be sustainable. Mm-hmm. We heard Coach Rhule in Vegas. Hey, listen, it's a really good job right now. Watch in 3 or 4 years. Number one, I believe we're going to start winning. But 2, fiscally, we're going to be in a really good spot. We're like, wow, really? All these grumble bugs and these, the rumor mill is, oh, they're not doing this with NIL and they're not doing that and they don't want to pay this and where's Nebraska rank it? Listen, very savvy fiscal spenders. I've said all along, you want Coach Rhule and his staff recruiting the way that they do. When you're going to go get Spindlers and Pritchett's, you want them doing it the way that they did it, right? So that works. Then we talk about the growing pains. This is on the heels of the stadium project being on delay, right?
Which, to be fair, I think 90% of that audience in the room with him assumed he was probably going to speak mostly on.
So this is kind of what this is about, right? So he's setting the stage as he continues to talk about, hey, what has been, because we're big, we love gravitating towards the past. He acknowledges it. Parts of it work, but he's not going to be held captive by it. So then we morph into the sake of the enterprise, right? Where we have to be patient. We've gotten off task trying to recalibrate and quickly shift things. Sometimes you just have to stay the course, admit where it wasn't good, then move on.
Yep, and he talks about it later when he says, listen, sometimes in this revenue share and all the NIL and everything else that we've got going on, everyone has tried to fight from the very instance that the final pen was put down, right? Every single time the last period was punched, every single school collectively had their own individual arguments, and no one wanted to accept, like, if this could work or this model might work or whatever. Everyone just wanted to do it their way, and they thought that the way the NCAA or whoever set the standard was incorrect. I thought it's a very interesting take to hear him say, we got to deal with those problems. And sometimes, and he mentioned in that last clip, you've got growing pains, and sometimes you just have to go through them.
Shane, play clip 8.
You can argue the last 20 years football maybe hasn't won at that level, and the financial model still works. I do not think that is infinite. We have to win. And, if you're doing this to not win, if you're not in it to win it, get out. And we've invested a lot of resources in football in the last couple of years. Investing resources not to compete where we were, but to compete where we expect to be.
So, full disclosure, my DB terms.
Yeah.
I was driving back from family gathering in Adams yesterday with Dr. Girlfriend, and I made her listen to this in the car. So we're driving back. It was, filled the space.
Does she like? Is it the fiscal part? Is it the leadership part? Does she like sports? What is it that you thought
she's
would...
all in?
Okay.
She's all in.
Okay.
So she heard that part.
God, that helps, doesn't it?
And yeah, and when he says, when he's like, "Gotta win," she goes, "About time someone said it." and she fully just minute long. I had to pause the video because I was like, I gotta listen to this. And she went off on a tangent just talking about we can't. She's my and our me and her the same age. She's got an older brother, younger brother. She's like, we're in because we're from here. We're fans, right? But our generation's not buying tickets to go to the games because we're not interested in going to the games. The Memorial Stadium experience is not the same that it was. Notably, I got roasted for it online a month ago for it, right? But a different generation, my parents' generation, they are still kind of locked into it. They want it to win. But when the winning's seated, I'll stay at home. I don't have as much going on. My parents that same way. They were in school in the late 80s, early 90s. They loved their Husker experience. They are diehard Bleeding Red UNL grads. UNL grads, not Husker fans, UNL grads. They had no interest during a different coach's tenure to appear because, it's team's not winning. It's not for us.
Interesting.
I was just going to say, I felt like when I was listening to that I was sitting down with my dad. My dad was telling me everything I needed to know, but not necessarily anything that I wanted to know.
Yeah. So one of the things that I really admire about him is you can take information. It's like, it's this whole sympathy versus empathy versus apathy, right? Apathy, you're clearly just indifferent about the results. Sympathy, you feel what they feel, and it dictates your behavior, right? You're absorbing what they feel. Real empathy is to understand the situation, to ask the questions. You recognize what somebody else is going through, but from a cognitive standpoint, it doesn't determine your next move, right? It's the fact that he can understand the different, and you need all three to be a functional person, right? But the fact that he can understand the difference of the three is exactly what I mean when I say you can understand the past and history, you just can't be held captive by it. It can't dictate your behavior in the moment. You have to stay cognizant and ask the right questions. And for him, in terms of leadership, and I've said this about Coach Rhule, their ability to adjust on the fly without complaining, it's rare, especially in the last 20 years, that you've had leadership on the same page with regards to that.
We'll get to all that next. Sam McKewon next on Hurrdat Sports Live.
Christo, congratulations on winning the Pinnacle Bank Championship presented by Woodhouse. What are the emotions for you getting your first Corn Ferry Tour win?
Yeah, it's kind of that little bit of time coming. I had a good chance in Columbia earlier on this year, kind of just let it slip, and it was just awesome to finish in that fashion.
Yeah, I mean, we had some dramatics here. Take me through that shot in the bunker to birdie.
Yeah, I mean, I thought I needed to make birdie on 18 just at least give myself a chance, and then I walked up here and I saw the lead was 18 instead of 19, so I really kind of gave me some motivation to get it in the hole, and somehow I just did.
What were the emotions for you? I mean, throwing the club in the air and celebrating the way you did.
Yeah, I think the club throw was pretty accurate. I was just like, what the heck just happened, and kind of a lot of it, just excitement and ecstatic.
Have you envisioned moments like this when you're growing up 3 years old playing?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of have to, right? I mean, there's so many times of holding a putt or holding a chip or something to win the Masters or something like that. But when it kind of moments like these come to life and become real, it's pretty special. It'll definitely stay in the memory bank for quite some time.
Aspirations can drive us. Sometimes a simple gesture is what fuels the pursuit of a dream. When it's time to make your dream a reality, we are here to help. Centris Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
Welcome to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Verizon has made a $20 million investment in cellular service in the stadium. No promises that everybody's going to be able to stream other games when they walk in, like they would if they were at home on their Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi will be a part of the stadium project eventually. We're not doing Wi-Fi until the stadium project is done, but we expect this to be a huge upgrade for the fan experience.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live. Action Jackson, Austin, as DB would say. DB here. Sam McKewon, the Omaha World Herald, joins us. Sam, how are we doing today?
Well,
Sam,
I'm doing pretty good.
Okay,
Good.
Didn't know if you blew away in the storm or not. We were worried there for a second.
Well, we did lose our power for about 26 hours. So yeah, it was fun. Yeah.
Did you have to? I won't ask about the fridge, but the freezer, assuming you utilize one, was the freezer still good?
We saved it. Yeah. You know, it was like where our fridge is at. It's sort of on a, I don't know. It's not necessarily right in the sun.
Mm-hmm.
So like, you know, it's in a, so yeah, we were able, and it wasn't like 100 degrees, you know, on either day. So we were able to save it. It was, it was interesting, Saturday, evening, you know, like it got a little warm. So, but you know, there's other people that still don't have it, and that stinks, you know, and so, and we could actually see, like, we knew when our power was going to be back on, because the power issue at our house was related to a downed power line that was, you know, across the street. Right. So we knew when it was coming back. So it was a little bit, it wasn't quite as hard, but yeah, it was quite a storm, and it took a lot of people by surprise, and always stinks when that happens.
Let me ask you something, Sam, because Austin and I were kind of going back and forth about this. What made the flooding such a thing in Lincoln as flat as it is? Is it the drainage system? Like, in your opinion, where did it come from? The creek? What happened?
Yeah, I don't know that I have enough information to give you a distinct answer. What I can tell you is that I've lived down here for a long time, and typically, this isn't always, but typically the flooding is north of O. and that's probably because it's a little bit flatter part. So that's pretty much what I know. So I live south of O, and like if you on the south side of town, there's quite a few hills, right? And so it doesn't feel like it's merely as it's not a lot of low-lying areas. So like people who are, for example, from Grand Island, and I lived in Grand Island for several years, it's so flat that like when it rains really hard, all of the town can seem like it's in like about an inch puddle. And then it drains pretty quickly usually, but like Grand Island's like that. And then there's parts of Omaha that are low-lying, which is typically kind of in that Sarpy County area. And then some other low-lying parts in Midtown. So like, I think it has something to do with that, but I honestly don't know how long the flash flooding lasted in Lincoln. It felt like it subsided. It was more an issue of the trees. There's a lot of old trees in the city because it's the capital city. And so like a lot of trees were planted over the years, and a lot of those old trees got cracked, or in the case of the park that's near us, a couple just kind of came right out of the ground. I mean, that's kind of how old some of these trees are.
All right, Sam. So going back to this past weekend with Troy Dannen's press conference and everything, DB and I were just talking about the new eyes and everything that he had commented about. I was curious just because I've started to hear more of a trend, whether it's, DB brought up how we've heard from Matt Rhule at Big Ten Media Days, how we've heard some of the offseason press conferences from Fred Hoiberg and some of the other coaches just in general circumstance. I thought Troy wrapped up everything really well into a nice, neat little Nebraska bow where it sounded like everything is kind of flowing in the same motion. Everyone is rowing the boat in the same direction. When was the last time that you got that same impression from the Nebraska athletic director down to almost all of the coaches of the major sports across Nebraska athletics?
Oh, again, I think, and Damon knows this, I think Trev Alberts did a pretty good job. So I don't think that Troy is now, again, obviously Scott Frost was Trev Alberts' first football coach, so there may not have been total alignment.
Yeah, the
there,
reason Trev's not going to get credit in that discussion is because his number one hire was never in agreement with him.
You mean Rhule?
Frost? No, I mean Frost.
Right. He didn't hire Frost.
Well,
yes, I agree.
do you know why I say he did? Because he had that tough year where he was maybe going to keep him, maybe he wasn't. He decided to. So, in essence, that's a hire.
Right. Yeah, I guess. I mean, that's
for
fair.
me.
Yeah, I get it. So yeah, I mean, I think the alignment's important. We've talked about it. I think everybody's clear on what's going to happen. What I would say about Dannen that's good and strong about him as an AD is that, he's kind of experienced the full spectrum of administration. So like he understands what it's like as a very small school or a small sport coach. Like he gets it because he was the guy that was, unfolding the tables and, working state tournaments and having to do all those small things. So like he knows coaches from the tiniest towns in Iowa, that kind of stuff. So like he gets it from that perspective. The other thing though, is that he really understands the whale. He does. He's got a skill set there. He's really, really good with big money boosters. He's really good with big profile coaches. Like he's got a talent there. And Rhule is kind of down to earth, so he's not necessarily, head in the clouds kind of guy, but Dannen's got a skill. He's got a skill set with big sport coaches too. That is rare, and the boosters like him. And I don't know that, I don't know that everybody liked Trev. I did, but I can understand where he would be a little bit challenging for some people.
You know what I like, because you mentioned with Coach Rhule and being down to earth. One of the cool things about Coach Rhule is if you're going to be engaging or get him engaged in a conversation, and it's going to have substance, right? i.e. fiscal savvy or settlement hearing or whatever, you can't BS him. So if Dannen and Coach Rhule are going to be on the same page, and that Coach Rhule is going to be he's going to look under every rock, he's going to check every turn, every stone. If you can't match that, you can't hold his attention. right? You're just gonna be a necessary evil. So the fact that I think he can have those conversations with Dannen on a higher level, there's the mutual respect there that I think it means a ton in terms of their work compatibility, if you know what I mean.
Yes, I do. I think that there's different personalities that you probably have to work through and work with, and so I think Rhule's personality is in my opinion pretty easy to work with.
Well, when your coach is gonna want to know as much or more than you do as the decision maker, so he's well informed. Like it just keeps everybody. Like I think there's a mutual respect there.
I agree. I like that.
Me
I
too.
think that's good
Me too.
good for a coach. Sorry, there's a truck backing up out here.
You're okay.
I like that for a coach. That's my, I think that's probably a good place to be. They don't all have to be exactly the same. I think there's a place for the let's keep the main thing coach. And, I feel like I've got a system and a culture, and I'm going to work that and not get too far into the weeds. I think Matt Rhule likes getting into the weeds. And quite frankly, I think this program needed a coach who could.
Yep.
Like I think it was time for a coach who could come in and say, hey, there was that piece of lint on the floor in the hallway during the recruiting weekend. Why didn't anybody pick it up? Like, I think that's part of who he is. Like, I think he's that guy. He's a detail mind, and he wants everything to be a certain way. And I think that and he's friendly about it, but I think he has high standards, which is part of why you've seen some of the staff turnover in a shorter period of time. Because I feel like he had to, we need to get another person in here who understands this place, and it's maybe not the places I've been before, but it's this specific place, and here's what I need to do. And so, I think he's been willing to challenge himself too. And so, I think Dan's a real good fit for that. He's a really, really good fit. And because I think Rhule's team is one that's like, okay, well, we want you down here in the trenches with us as we go through every single little detail. Yeah. And I think Dannen's like, we will go down there with you. And I think Trev was more, no, you guys can figure it out. And again, I understand both perspectives, but I think that the coach Rhule probably prefers that AD who's down in the. Now, my sense is that Hoiberg isn't quite as much like that, and that's not a critique of Hoiberg. I think Fred's wants to handle things a slightly maybe different way, and can handle a lot of things on his own, and maybe isn't necessarily asking for, hey, can we get this flavor of whatever at our recruiting dinner. Like, I think Fred has a pretty good sense of what he wants to do, and so I think Fred's probably a little more lower key. Now he's got to win, but I think that's how I mean. It just takes different, and not every coach is going to be the same. Some coaches are going to be one way. Another, I think John Cook was probably a pretty hey, what do you think of this? And what do you think of this? And I don't know that Danny Busboom Kelly is going to be as much like that. I think to be clear, I think she's a really, really good coach, and she's already shown the ways in which she's willing to change. But I think she's probably going to be slightly more, hey, we're going to play volleyball and we're going to win a lot. And if I need something, I'll let you know.
Yeah, it's a lot like, and you can relate to this, Sam. It's a lot like parenting, right? Where kind of gone are the days where your kids are like, oh, because I said so, right? It's much more inquisitive. You get a lot more wise. They kind of do their own homework, right? They're their own Bereans. And I think with athletic directors now, coaches have so much information readily available to them about what other schools are doing and what the new rules are. And so it's not so much as, well, these are the mandates, do it this way. It's more like, okay, this is the landscape. I know you guys are well aware. And then that's where the conversation starts, right? It's not so much, well, because I'm your boss and I tell you, like, that's not really the dynamics, if that makes sense, kind of what I'm saying. I think that's how these coaches are working. And I can track with that because I think it's a reflection of how the real world works. Like gone are the days of because I said so.
Right. Yeah, for sure. And I think that's, you're trying to work with a lot of different personalities. And yes, as it relates to student athletes, you're having to take, it's harder to do a one size fits all approach. I'm really intrigued, for example, to see how Bill Belichick handles going to college, because I don't know that that's going to work, whatever he has in mind. So he's going to, we'll have to see if he's able to adjust to collegiate athletes who, quite frankly, can't handle some of the things that he may want them to handle.
Or bring other dynamics to their job, which he's never been accustomed to, right? It's like, my girlfriend said this, or my biology class is this, or like those are just it was kind of like Callahan, right? Where guys start bringing these issues to them that perfect the desired, that impact the desired outcome. There has to still be that relatability if you're going to get through to those players. Now, probably more than ever.
Now, probably more than ever. Yeah. I mean, I think, now probably more than ever, I suppose. It's interesting.
There's dynamics involved. There's dynamics involved of finances, and there's There's freedom of movement.
Sure. Yep. There is. I think kids are a little bit more bottom line and almost cynical in a way. So if you can break through that cynicism, you can probably get a little bit of. Like my daughter's going to be a senior, and I kind of, get a sense of just people's whatever. I don't know that I would say that, like, there's a lot of, there's always these folks who will say, well, kids are snowflakes today. And I don't know if kids in this generation are that. I don't think that. I don't see that. I think there's actually, and maybe it was because of whatever reason, the kids that are my daughter's age, and my daughter too, they're pretty tough-minded, like bottom line people. I wouldn't describe them as like super naive.
Mm-hmm.
So I think probably what Rhule is running up against today is a little bit of like, do you actually care about me? I've been surrounded by really transactional people who aren't necessarily giving me everything I want, but like
I'm vibing with that. I think that's accurate.
Yeah. So like, I think, do you really care about me? And then, like, when you tell me no, or you discipline me, not like physically, but you know what I mean? Like you chastise me, or you criticize me, or you hold me accountable, can I stay in there because I know that you care? And
that's where he's winning. That's where he's winning. That's the part that I really, really admire about Coach Rhule, because especially now that I think he trusts his coordinators. And let me know what you think about this, Sam. That that you get a Holgorsen type, and you get a Coach Butler type, and you have some Snow influence, and you trust your O-line coach. He's free to individually put his fingerprints on wherever or whatever or whomever he wants to with exactly what you're talking about. Year one, it was, hey, I've been here. I've done this. I've been to the pro level. Like, why would you want to fight me? Like, why do you want to argue with me as a player? Mm-hmm. To now, it's like, oh, I've got some cachet now. I've helped you guys weather the storm. Okay. Now we know as players, we don't always need him to tell us why we do it. We now have an understanding of why we do it. You know what I mean? I think that's the key.
Yes. Yeah, I think so. And I think there's a why factor there that, again, I think kids can understand the why. It's more, well, I don't like, I do or I don't like the why. And, beyond that, like, here's how I intend to resolve that. Like, and so I think more what happens is there's a little bit of like, kids want to kind of sort of self-style it like it's an a la carte way of going about things. And I think kids probably realize pretty quickly that, like, you're not going to get everything you want. And so you got to try to find somebody who you trust, and maybe they don't agree with everything you agree with, but you relatively trust them. And I think that's probably part of the challenge today. So like the thing that I get a lot from like kids, my daughter's age and a little bit younger, is just skepticism of like, are you an authentic person? Or are you kind of giving me a line? Or not so much. Like, I think there was probably a generation, I don't know, 10 year.
It's right older than them. It's the high 20s, right, whatever that is.
Right. They were like, hey, yeah, give me a line. Tell me whatever. I want to hear it because I want to hear you agree with me.
Yep.
And I'm not trying to be critical. I'm just saying that, like, I
agree.
think what's changed
That's
is
right.
that kids are actually, like, today are not so much like that. High school seniors, college freshmen are more like, I want to know what you actually think, and then I may decide that I do or don't like it. But authenticity has become really important. It's not as much about, hey, you know, I want you to say what I think, and I want you to feel the same way I do about things. It's not like that anymore. I think people are more willing. Kids are today, or you know, those high school seniors, college freshmen are more willing to have a give and take or disagree, or it's not because I said so, but it's like, I want to know who you really are. And then I want to know if you care about me, even if I don't agree with you or I question you. That's a little bit different. And I do think Rhule's good.
That's incredible. Because not only do I think that's the AD coach relationship, Sam, what you're describing is what I'm fascinated about with watching this staff work together. Because I think it's a lot of what you're saying. I mean, why else would Coach Holgorsen be here with Coach Rhule if it wasn't about what you're describing right now? It's absolutely Coach Rhule's authenticity in what he asked of Dana and like what the blueprint was. Like you're not going to get Coach Snow to hop on board if he doesn't think that as good of friends as they are. He told him no once before, right? Yeah. You think it's not about the authenticity? I think it absolutely is. And then there's where do we agree to this? Coach Eckler will tell you, but during the interview with Coach Rhule, like that was what you're describing is huge in terms of authenticity.
Yeah. And Holgersen's that. So that's a good thing about him. And he has a very important job. He really does. You know, in some ways he's like the second head coach. So hopefully he's ready to crank up that offense and get it going. You know, if he is, then I think they could have a really big season.
All right, Sam. So just you talking about just the authenticity in the coaching, the staff from the top down. How does that bleed then into the players on the field, right? Because that's one of the keys of the year 3 with Rhule is that you had the guys that have grown up a little bit more and they've taken their lumps, and they definitely did a couple of times last year. But does that new blood of authenticity, the authentic leadership that you're kind of talking about, that DB's mentioning, does that lead into more player leadership that they're able to, I guess, just control that environment in their own locker room a little bit more just with themselves, and it doesn't have to come from Rhule as often?
Maybe. You know,
they got to get, that's the goal, I think.
Yeah. I don't know. It's contingent. I mean, so many of those variables are contingent upon success and contingent upon like a lot of different things. I'll say this. The last group of really good leaders that I thought they had that was like a bunch of older guys that kind of carried it was the year Sam Folds passed away in that senior class. So Tommy and Westerkamp and Brandon Riley and Ross DeZuris and some of the guys on defense and a lot more walk-ons, to be honest with you. And they had kind of stuck through the program for 5 years. They came here under Bo and they persevered under Riley. And then, you know, Sam passed away, and I think that galvanized things a little bit. And that was a good group. You know, that was a strong group, not perfect, you know, not by any means were they perfect, but they were good. Like they cared about each other and they played pretty hard and they won 9 games, and they probably didn't have the talent to win 9, but they did. And that group was pretty good. And since then, I think it's been kind of up and down. Thought they had a pretty good group last year that kind of carried them through, and they had a pretty good group 2 years ago. The leadership wasn't the issue 2 years ago. It was god awful quarterback play. And that's not all on the quarterbacks, as we all know. Like that, some of that is just the, you know, unfortunate injuries and picking the wrong transfer, whatever. It doesn't matter. But I think they're going to have good leadership this year. I like some of the guys in the secondary. I think their linemen are good leaders. Dylan's got to do a lot of it. He has to do it. Like, it's his team. He's a sophomore. It doesn't matter. He's high profile. He's the face of the program. He's the guy that's organizing the off-season workouts. I know it's a lot to put on him. It's probably not fair, but some of it is on him. Like, he's got to, in those moments when it's really hard, and they're going to have those, they're going to go 3 drives, 3 and out, or they're going to go 3 drives, fumble, 3 and out, interception. That's going to happen this season because, the team is human. He's got to be able to be the one that brings them back together. You can say it's a lineman. Sure. Can Henry Lutovsky get in a huddle and go, come on, guys? Yes, of course. Can Emmett Johnson do that? He can. Can Dane Key say, hey, let me draw on my experiences in the SEC? Of course. But when the program's been really good, it tracks to the quarterback. It really does. It's not perfect. It's not 1-to-1. There were teams that Nebraska's had that have been great that didn't necessarily have great quarterback play, but there's a relationship there. And it often is a relationship with the leader at quarterback. It's the leader. It's Tommy. It's Turner. It's Steve Taylor. It's Eric Crouch in those last couple of years once he, finally got the job and earned it all the way in 2000 and 2001. It's, it's that. It's Zach Taylor. It's Joe Gans. It's Tommy Armstrong, who was imperfect, but cared and played hard and willed the team to wins that they haven't won in the last 7 years. So Dylan, some of it's on him. And I think Holgerson and Glenn Thomas and Matt Rhule all know that. And I think Dylan knows it. He's just got to go do it. Success would help. Beating Cincinnati would be a big start, because then they can play 2 games. They're going to just, roll over those 2 teams. And then when Michigan comes to town is when it gets real. You got to beat Cincinnati, then you win those next 2, and then Michigan comes to town, and everything's important that week, because Michigan's a big deal now. I try to tell people this. I understand that their offense is deeply challenged, but Michigan has everyone's respect in terms of its physicality and toughness. Nobody thinks Michigan's weak. And so when they come to town, your expectation is, even if you think they're a bunch of cheaters, right? You cannot cheat physicality. And so if Michigan goes on the field in 2023, and yeah, maybe they got Nebraska's signals, but their defensive and offensive linemen will kick the crap out of you, and it doesn't take Connor Stallions to do that. And so Nebraska will have to meet that physicality, and Dylan will have to look down, he'll have to look at that defense coming at him, and he'll have to deal with it. And quarterbacks like Jalen Milroe and Will Howard, and in some ways even Dylan Gabriel, really struggled to do that last year. And so, they're no joke. And their defensive coordinator is no joke. He's an incredible coordinator. And so, it'll get real in that 4th week, and that's when Dylan will probably have to pull on the reserves of leadership and say, this is the week when I have to have everything together, and I got to be ready to roll, because it's going to test me like few games have.
I agree with you on Michigan. I think that's why they do get the benefit of the doubt this year. It's because their standard is definitely the standard. It is the level of physicality and discipline, although the NCAA may just be getting ready to hammer them. So I can't wait to see what happens there. But Sam, let me ask you about position groups. And I'm typically not if I had to pick, I always want to pick people closer to the ball for more impact, right? O-line, D-line, quarterback. Is there a group right now that you wouldn't mind taking the position of leadership that is not offensive or defensive line related?
Well, yeah, quarterback. And then, you always want your linebackers to be sort of the quarterbacks of your defense, or one of the safeties. Sometimes it's a safety, so it could be Singleton or Buford, but you want your linebackers to be in a good spot and to be able to run that defense accordingly. I think John Bullock and Nick Henrich, not Chris Hickman, Nick Henrich and Luke Reimer did that for the last couple of years, and I'm sure that they want either Marquise Watson-Trent or Vincent Shavers or Javen Wright to be that. So Javen's really sharp. He's an older guy. I think he's one of the older players on the team. It'd be good to see him, kind of take that defense under his wing and say, between me and Deshaun and Marquise Buford, we're the oldest guys on the team. And, we're going to take this thing where we want it to go. And I came back. I think Javen's got a really compelling story. He didn't have to. He could have retired from football and everybody would have understood, but he didn't. And so, he has a really compelling story of I could have walked away, and I didn't walk away. And here I am, and I want to be part of the rise. And so he's a guy that I think about. Singleton, Buford, they both could have moved on. They decided to come back. Those are probably the players that you're thinking about. I'll be curious to see if Javen gets a single-digit jersey. That's coming up here real soon. And I've and this is on me as a reporter. I'm still not entirely sure how Vincent Shavers ended up with one. He did, but that happened like last year. Jamari Butler left, and I guess Shavers got it. I guess the defense decided he was the one who got it. So I don't know. I'm not sure how that happened, but those single digits will be up again this week, right? And so, right?
Yeah.
And so I think, yeah, I mean, Dylan's probably going for one. Emmett's probably going for one. Dane Key's probably going for one. Obviously, the offensive
There's a
lineman
lot
can't
that
have
goes
them.
into it, right? Off-season leadership,
Yeah.
off-season attendance, off-season work ethic.
Mhm.
I mean, it's a peer vote.
Yeah.
If the coaches
Yeah.
truly stay, I mean, because I'm not going to act like we said, "Oh, hey, it's up to the players," and then we didn't. Well, that may not be the best
Yeah,
idea.
it's
You know,
hard-
so it's
hard
like
to know, right?
if it's
Yeah.
all peer driven, I think it's interesting.
So, like, who's going to get 0 is up, right? So Nash Hutmacher was 0, wasn't he? I think.
Yeah.
And Ty Robinson was
Well,
9.
it was an O lineman's first. Whose was it first? And he couldn't wear it.
Is it Banks?
No.
No, it was Piper.
Yep.
Oh,
I
yep.
think.
Yep.
In 23.
Yep.
And so 4 is Banks, and so he's gone. And 9 is Robinson. That's available. And then, I mean, I think 1 is up for grabs. I understand that Vincent Shavers has that, but I have to think that if Dylan's able to get it, he would want it. That would be my hunch. So, I know Shavers was sort of bequeathed it in the bowl. Bequeathed is the wrong word. He was given it. Butler didn't pass on. He just went to LSU, where he's going to be pretty good, I think. But Butler apparently gave it to him. I don't know. We need to ask about how that happened. But the single digit that number 1 is still in play, because I think that was Butler's. And so 1, 0, 6, I think that was Tommy Hill, and 9. I think those are all in play. Right?
Yeah, because Singleton and Buford are 8 and 3.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine if they get, I don't know. Do you get them the next year? Or do you have to re-earn them?
I think you have to re-earn them because they re-vote every.
Well, you got to re-earn
10,
them,
right?
but my point being that, like, if they re-earn them, they're not going to go, well, now I'd like to be 6. Like, just stay 8. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm saying. Is that I suspect 3, 7, and 8 will stay the same, and I don't know.
Well, 5's got it. 5's open.
Yeah.
With
So
my guy
0, 1.
going.
Yep.
0, 1, 2, 5, 0, 1, 2, 4, 5, 9. And I think 1 is open. Now, it's possible Shavers gets a different single digit, but I don't know that he's going to be able to just say, hey, this is mine because I got it last year if Dylan wants it. And that presumes Dylan would get one. And I think Dylan might. I think he's put in a lot of work. And I also think, players very much want to line up behind him. I think they're like, all right, man, this is your team, and you're doing some good things in camp. And I would be surprised if Dylan had a single person on the team that didn't like him. I mean, he's such a likable, nice guy. So I think he's probably got universal approval. That isn't always, sometimes you want your quarterback to be at about 87% approval. You want him to be like, you want 13% of the team to think he's kind of a jerk, because you want them to understand that the standard that the quarterback holds everybody else to is so high that it kind of pisses you off. And there's guys that are like, I just don't want to. I don't like that guy. He's too hard on me. He's too demanding. Who is he to say that? And that's. But you want it to be really high. But I'm guessing there were times when when Peyton Manning wasn't universally loved, or Tom Brady wasn't universally loved, or see again, Patrick Mahomes is probably 100% approval rating, don't you think, among his teammates?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he's ever rubbed anybody the wrong way. So, if Mahomes is the model, then there you go. Like, I don't think Mahomes has probably ever upset anybody among his teammates, and I don't think Lamar Jackson has either. Maybe he has, I don't know. But so, I think Dylan's got 100% approval among his teammates, which is probably a good thing in college. You don't really want to have anybody who doesn't like you. I'm just saying that if it's 87%, that means 13% of the guys are just maybe being held to a higher standard than they'd prefer by one of their teammates, and that's never a bad thing.
Sam, let me get you out on this last one for me. Is there a position group that you think, or player that you think is most likely to change from what we see in Kansas City and not necessarily have it be a bad thing?
Yeah, I do.
Because of a bad thing, I should say.
Right.
Because that's
yes,
a different question.
I think, the secondary is probably going to change as the season goes on. I think you're going to see, and we talked about this, you have an opportunity to play some young guys who are able to play and are almost just as good as the seniors right now, and will alleviate some of the pressure of having to use guys when they're banged up or when, they played 3 drives in a row. So I think over the course of the year, you're going to see more defensive backs play than you're probably expecting. The level of play will not probably dip. I do think that their top 2 corners, Sierra Wright and Andrew Marshall, are good. But I think if Donovan Jones is at corner, now that, Bly Hill is hurt, I think he's going to be very good there. I think Sierra Wright's got good backups too. I think they're going to be in a good position in the secondary. So I think that's going to grow. I think you're going to see new safeties. I think you're going to see Caleb. And you're going to see Rex Guthrie, and you're going to see some other guys that I think can play the game. They're young. They may not start in Kansas City. They probably won't, but over time they'll play. And you'll reduce some of the wear and tear on a guy like Malcolm Hartzog, who's been banged up, I think, kind of every year and just played through
So
it.
this is the first year he actually feels healthy, man. I love his smile. He's a super kid. Or young man.
He's great. He's a great story,
I
too.
love him.
I'm not sure he's ever complained. I think he's done nothing but play hard since he got here. And he's an incredible story. And then the receiver position, I think now some of the young guys are already going to play, but if people think it's going to be Dane Key and Isaiah Hunter and Ja'Cory Barney and that's all it's going to be, no. They're going to play other guys. Yeah. And Cortez Mills is going to play, and Keelan Smith's going to play, and Quinn Clark's going to play, and and Isaiah Hunter is probably the most physically gifted in some ways of all of them because of his size, but he has to be consistent. And if he's not consistent, then he isn't going to play as much. And so, now again, Quinn Clark's a unique athlete. He's got a unique profile. I appreciate a lot of things about his game for sure.
Man, Quinn's pretty Quinn's pretty sweet, man. All bias aside, that dude, he's pretty good.
Yes. Yeah.
He's pretty good.
I would just say again that you get over a certain height as a receiver, and you get up into that 6'4" and 6'5" range, and you just absorb a lot. And the receivers in the NFL that are 6'5" are usually about 240 pounds. They're Calvin Johnson type or Kelvin Benjamin. They're huge guys. And so sometimes they're tight and sometimes they convert to tight end. And so, Quinn may have to put on some weight, but Hunter's really talented. It's obvious that he is. That's clear. And he's tough, but he's got to be consistent. So I think, if you're going to tell me right now, well, who's the guy that's going to end up with the most catches on the team? Well, maybe it's Dan Key, but maybe it isn't. Maybe it's Barney again. Maybe, and Raiola said that. You guys are sleeping on Ja'Cory Barney. He said that in Las Vegas. But maybe you have 6 guys with 20 or more catches. And that's been a long time since it's happened. Let's say for argument's sake that it's Hunter and it's Key and it's Keelan Smith and it's Quinn Clark and it's Barney. That's 5. And then who's your 6? Well, it could be Johnson. It could be Lindenmeyer. It could be another receiver. We'll just have to see. So I think those are the 2 positions where in a good way, you're going to see positive things happen. And then we've already talked about ring best, but the reality is those guys are going to play in the first half of the first game. So they're going to play. Emmett Johnson's probably going to start, and he's probably going to keep that so long as he stays healthy. But the other 2 guys are going to play in the first half of the first game. So I honestly think that picture could remain the same all season long. Whereas I think the secondary and the receiver cores could change over time, and you could see young guys get more playing time as the season goes on.
I like it. That's Sam McKewon of the Omaha World Herald joining us today on Hurrdat Sports Live. Sam, appreciate your time, and we'll talk with you again next time.
Thanks, Sam.
Take care.
All right. Great stuff from Sam. And really hit all the avenues you wanted. We got Troy Dannen stuff. We got leadership, coaching, player accountability, and even hit some
the authenticity
stuff there at the end.
That's my favorite word.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, Coach Rhule can get on you and into you and say some things, and you just receive it better now than you did then, because I think you trust the development, because guys have clearly gotten better.
Yep.
And he's been there, so why wouldn't you listen?
Yeah. I've always loved the fact that Rhule has guys that are always in his corner, and being a Panther guy myself, there are still guys from that Panther team that he was fired from that still ride with him today. Yeah. And one of them, a couple of them are pretty big names. I'm AJ, that's DB. We'll be back with more Hurrdat Sports Live next.
A successful financial future is built one coin at a time. Whether you're just starting out or a seasoned saver, we've got the financial resources and team of experts who will be with you every step of the way. Centris Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
What was the most encouraging thing that you saw from some of the younger players today?
Just their confidence, and when they got the ball, usually something positive happened, and if it didn't, then their body language and their communication was still really mature for freshmen, or Virginia, who's not a typical freshman, but she's still is. She's new here, so just really impressed with their overall maturity and confidence.
Did you get what you wanted to out of today?
Sure. Of course, it'd be nice to walk away from here and be like, oh, this was obvious. So-and-so should start, or, this person played great under pressure. But we wanted to have a lot of even teams and have a competitive game. And, we did that. And we saw some players step up in big moments, which was great. But it also showed a few things we have to work on, and that hopefully will be better in the alumni match next week.
Oh my gosh. I take a lot of those kinds of accolades very seriously. Like, John had a EDMF belt whenever he was here. And to me, those are celebrating the intangibles, and that's what Lifter of the Year is. I think it's more than just how much can you squat, how fast can you run. I feel like, what kind of culture and vibe do you bring to the gym, especially on days we don't want to be there. And also, my teammates voted for that, and so that feels really good knowing that they wanted to see me holding that. So it meant a lot.
Did you know?
No, I didn't. like I found out as the media people were telling me to go stand next to Brian. Yeah. I wanted to cry. I wanted to cry. It feels good to be appreciated. It does, especially, on things that I hold dear to me. Like I go hard in practice and the weight room, typically like the places that people will take for granted, not in our program, but, the average athlete will go through the motions in those spaces. And I know that's where I can get that extra inch in a match. And so for that to be recognized was really cool.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
I think a lot of it's me watching the tape first. As I think I said to them, I said, coming out of scrimmage, it's what did I do well? What did I not do well? What do I need to improve upon? And what's my plan? I think as I look at it, defensively, it's just certainly continuing to tackle, right? Continuing to run the right angles and tackle. Continuing to, situational football. We've been doing a lot of 2-minute stuff. We didn't do any today. It was more like first and second down, red zone. And then we did work 2-point plays as if it was overtime. The kicking game, we got to continue to master the field goal and, field goal rush. So we'll try to get better at everything, but I think there's some key things. Like I said, the 2-minute end of game stuff on offense and certainly on defense, tackling and just continue to give the guys a chance to be game ready. Because the first football games, Cincinnati is an excellent team. The first game of the year usually comes down to tackling and special teams. And so we want to make sure we as coaches give the guys the best chance to do that.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live. I'm Austin, that's DB. Of course, Hurrdat Sports Live brought to you by Centris Federal Credit Union. You can access your home's equity for the cash you need when you need it. Home equity line of credit from Centris Federal Credit Union may be able to help you finish the bathroom remodel. You can update your kitchen, or you can take the vacation that you've always wanted. You can start your application and learn more by visiting Centris online at centrisfcu.org. I know you want to get to some preseason stuff.
Well, I don't have to. But
that tackling comment, and then TK earlier talking about tackling, I didn't realize everyone is so concerned about the tackling all of a sudden. But I have a scheme question for you.
Okay, so here's the thing about that, though.
Yeah.
I think because year one, was it 2023? They were fantastic tacklers.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
Last year, Coach White talked about it. Late in the season, Coach Rhule talked about it. Just not as sharp tackling.
Yes.
And so when Coach Rhule brings it up in year 3, and it was kind of unsolicited, right? Because nobody asked about tackling specifically. Right. It was just kind of his thoughts on the deal. So I think we're going to be like, oh, shoot.
Right. Thinking about it.
Can we tackle?
So
can we tackle? Can we tackle?
My curiosity, because this stems back to what we had heard from what TK was talking about, to hearing what Rhule had just said about the tackling. In the scheme and fit of what Tony White did, what John Butler is hoping to do, who needs to be the most impactful tacklers, right? Who needs to secure? Because there are some defensive schemes that set up where you're defensively, you hope everyone can tackle well, make one-on-one stops, right? Mm-hmm. But there are others, in some sense, where the defensive linemen, they're more gap fillers, right? If they can make a play in the open field, that's great. But sometimes it's funneling towards, hey, we want this guy to be able to fill a space or make a play.
So that's a great question. If I had my druthers for this team, I would start with second-level guys, right? I want my insides to be able to tackle because I think when you play with 3 and the occasional fourth down lineman, when you start talking fits, like if those guys gap guys out and you have 4 of your gaps taken, you go from inside out. So you have A gaps, you have B gaps, you have C gaps, you have D gaps. So you have run fitters for each side. So I always want my linebackers to be really, really good tacklers. Now my 2 best tacklers though, in total, I want to be coming out of my secondary, especially if I play an odd front, because if you just do simple math and you play with 6 in the box or 7, a 4-3 plays with 7 in the box, 4 down linemen, 3 linebackers. your safeties have to be really good run fitters because they're normally the 8th
Right.
in the fit if you have to get 8 in the box. And an odd front or a 3-man front, you have one more DB on the field.
Mhm.
So that first DB and the next safety have to be really good tacklers.
Okay, so I'm curious, just kind of going off of that. So parlaying to something that I know, right?
Yeah, this would be my preference if I was putting together the defense.
How often does that priority of this guy needs to be, like you said, the defensive backs, your safety, your run fitters, right? When you change the week of the schedule, who you're playing, right, and their offensive scheme, does that change?
Yeah.
With do you point a guy out and you say, hey, you've got to be our number one 100% of the time? You got to bring the guy
that it can definitely happen, right? We're playing a team in the opener that has historically been a really good weak side run team, right? They're very good open. They have very good what I call open side run game. So our weak side guys and weak and strong doesn't determine the actual prowess of the player. It's just strength in numbers versus not strength in numbers when we say strong and weak. So if we're playing, let's say North, that may be a game for, our weak side anchor, our weak side linebacker, our run fitting safety to the open side, right? Where those guys, you're going to be on high alert. With some teams, if my outside backers are more out of the box guys, if we're playing 2x2 teams or spread 3x1s, my inside guys, linebackers have to sometimes be good tacklers because you'll be one-on-one a little more. So it is opponent specific sometimes in terms of preference, but if you're just going to start by building a defense, I think your insides and your alley runners have to be your best tacklers.
Right.
Like Deshaun Singleton is going to have to get guys to the ground.
That's exactly who I was thinking.
He's your rover,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
He's probably going to be your 8th down into the box. Like he's got to be able to tackle.
And he's your run fit guy, like you were talking about. He's the guy who's going to be.
He's kind of your adjuster.
Yep.
Similarly, if they play nickel or if they're in nickel, and they're using like Hartzog has a very difficult job because sometimes he's going to get number 2s. He's got to be able to handle some number 3s, and he's got to be able to fit in the run game. That's why him getting bigger and stronger was very, very important. Right. If you see Malcolm Hartzog outside of his pads, he looks like $1 million. I mean, he's big, strong. I mean, Coach Coop used to be on him all the time about lifting weights and getting bigger and stronger. And that nickel, that weak side outside spot, in essence, has got to be able to tackle, because that's how you have to think about it in terms of concepts. If I'm playing with an extra DB, he's playing like my 3rd linebacker.
Right.
He's playing like my 3rd off the ball linebacker. Now, which one it is sometimes is dictated by scheme.
And I think that's the misperception sometimes, that when we being the general audience, right, the general fan base, you're standing in the stadium and you're thinking, oh, our tackling's bad, or we just say that statement out loud. It's usually assumed with linebackers missing tackles and fits, right? Or it's defensive backs missing tackles that lead to big gains. That's how I always assume it. But when it comes to like a defensive lineman presence in tackling, their form of tackling is much different than what it would be, because you're either trying to thump a quarterback, you're trying to corral and keep a playmaker in the pocket, or you're trying to catch someone in space.
Yeah,
they
get a lot more catch and drag downs.
Yes.
They don't, because they're already in their fit, right? If you're an A-gap player, you're in A-gap, but ball may not go there. But that's where you've got to be. Like we do, and this is college, this is pro. Like their D-line tackling drills look a lot different than anybody else because they're often catching. They're coming off of something, which is different than squaring a guy up one-on-one in the hole. Very rarely do D linemen get backs like one-on-one with nobody in between. They're usually disengaging, shocking and shedding, coming off. So they get a lot of peekaboo tackles.
Yeah.
Right. Your insides. People, it's always funny. They do these like tackling drills where it's like direct flow, like where it's right at me. That almost never happens in a game where you come free, unimpeded, in an alleyway.
Yeah, right.
It's usually at an angle. It's a 45. It's stepping over a bag or getting not a bag.
Yeah, you're not running down.
We simulate it with bags coming off a block.
You're not running down a hallway right at each other.
Yeah, like shed. You're at an angle. You're playing peekaboo. You still have to thump. Like we're really, really specific about that, where we try to simulate being in phase, how it actually looks in a game. If I'm an inside linebacker in an odd front, I don't get a lot of free running shots. I'm coming off of something. I'm stepping over something. I'm disengaging. And I don't see it the whole way. So a lot of times we'll put them in phase where your head's on the correct side, get rid of, go make a play. Because that's how it really happens in games. You don't get like free runner hitters. But when you're coming out of the secondary, a lot of times your path is clean. So it's super noticeable when you don't make the play because it's typically you and the ball carrier. There's really a lot of times nothing impeding progress coming out of the fit. I just watched who played the Colts in the exhibition? Was it the Ravens?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I should know because we did the film.
We broke that down Friday. Yep.
So 33 for the Colts. He's got a free downhill shot after about a 6-yard gain. It ends up being a touchdown. It was like I don't know, however long the run was, 16, 17 yards or whatever. Because you got a free runner hitter that doesn't get a ball carrier to the ground. It looks like a great run for the running back. But if I'm the DC, I'm like, hey, listen, close the distance, make the play, make them snap it again. That's why when you talk about tackling, it's so important because what do OCs do? OCs, their job is to not only get playmakers in space conceptually, but it's to create 1v1s. You want one-on-ones, and then you recruit guys that can win one-on-ones. The play that we talked about with Richardson, see the Ravens to the side that Richardson wanted to go to were +1 in coverage.
Yeah.
They're going to win. 2 receivers, 3 defenders. You can vice drill that. If the ball goes over there, they're probably not running and making a play. We saw Jamar Chase. It was basically 2 for 2 on a little smoke screen.
Yep.
You had a free run defender. That ball carrier, Chase, beat the free run defender. He goes out of the back end. Schematically, you can't do it any better. Like that's how you draw it up as a defense. But because they didn't get him to the ground, you know, Jamar Chase is getting highlights in preseason as a really, really good player anyway, right? Yep. But schematically, it's like, what are you supposed to do? You occupy 2 blockers. I've got a free downhill runner. You just got to make the play.
Yep.
So when you're coming out of the secondary in a game of space right now, that's why Coach White said it, Coach Butler says it, Addison Williams says it now. If you can't tackle as a DB, you probably can't play.
Yep.
Because all offenses think about now, you make corners tackle, you make linebackers cover.
Yep. And just like you said too, if you can get your athlete receivers in a one-on-one.
Yeah, I mean, how many one-on-ones do you want with Barney in the open field?
I take it every day. Take it every day.
That's a nightmare on defense.
Yep.
Right.
And I know we'll get to Howard Griffith in a sec right after the break, but I think Cincinnati is a great example of we're going to see it right away.
Yeah.
They're going to throw formation at you. They're going to open it up.
And you don't have a free run fitter either with a quarterback that can run.
Yep.
You have to play 11 on 11.
You're going to know right away. Howard Griffith of the Big Ten Network's coming up next on Hurrdat Sports Live.
A successful financial future is built one coin at a time. Whether you're just starting out or a seasoned saver, we've got the financial resources and team of experts who will be with you every step of the way. Centris Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
encouraging thing that you saw from some of the younger players today?
Just their confidence and that, when they got the ball, usually something positive happened. And if it didn't, then their body language and their communication was still really mature for freshmen, or Virginia, who's not a typical freshman, but she's still is, she's new here. So just really impressed with their overall maturity and confidence.
Did you get what you wanted to out of today?
Sure. Of course, it'd be nice to walk away from here and be like, oh, this was obvious. So-and-so should start, or, this person played great under pressure. But we wanted to have a lot of even teams and have a competitive game. And, we did that. And we saw some players step up in big moments, which was great. But it also showed a few things we have to work on, and that hopefully will be better in the alumni match next week.
Welcome to Hurrdat Sports Live.
I would say Rocco, being a transfer, he just played a national championship. He has that experience and veteran standpoint. And then also like Henry, he's been here since I got here. So he's been through everything, the ups and downs. And he's somebody who we constantly meet with the running backs. We're becoming a lot closer with the O-line. And, man, I just can't wait to run behind those boys all season.
I'll cut them off, and I think my boys can win the Joe Moore. I think that they've been training and they've been doing everything right this offseason, so I think that's their ceiling.
They work really hard.
When you talk about winning the Joe Moore, that's great. The running games get going, and the passing game can play off of that.
Welcome back to Hurrdat Sports Live. I'm Austin, that's DB from the Big Ten Network. Howard Griffith joins us live on Hurrdat Sports Live. Howard, how are we doing today?
I'm doing well. How you guys doing?
Man, the myth, the legend. Where you been all my life, man? You just big time in me. How you been?
Man, I can't complain, man. We keep missing each other.
I know. Listen, I saw you from afar. You look fantastic. I don't know if juniors, if you're if you're his demo guy or what, but man, you get any smaller, you're gonna be place kicking, man. You look fantastic.
And I appreciate that. And that place kicking seems to be a safe job to do, right? That seems to be a pretty safe job if you look at all the jobs that you can have on a football field. But unfortunately, it looks like the time has come and gone for me to do that.
Well, I'll tell you what, though, and this will be a good segue, with some of these offenses and how they use H-backs and motion and get these guys in space, man, this might be the perfect body type. You might not have near as many collisions when you played because you could now formation guys and use your athleticism. Do you like how that offensive philosophy is kind of morphed into that?
It has. I think for the most part, it's fun. It talks about getting people in position, getting players in position where they really are not necessarily have to have that collision that you talked about, but also being able to use angle blocking schemes and some of those for those guys that are in motion always adds to the game and gives you a lot of variety. And really, when you think about it, putting people in motion and having these move tight ends and backs really, puts the defense in a position of conflict. And that's ultimately what you want to see happen.
Yeah, it's interesting. We were just listening to some press clips from this weekend. Nebraska had a close scrimmage, and Coach Rhule was talking about tackling. And, it draws the fans' ire, but it's really difficult to do. And if you're coaching, Howard, you see all these camps, and we're going to get into it. When you're simulating tackling and trying to get guys to the ground with limited padded practices, if you're coaching, are you putting guys in phase so they can see what it looks like realistically, or are you kind of going back old school with your tackling drills if you want to really learn to get guys to the ground, considering you're talking about playing at angles now?
Yeah, I think that's really a tough decision, and one of the decisions that has to be made, obviously, by all these coaching staffs. But it also, a lot has to do with what type of team you have. Do you have a veteran team that's played a lot of snaps? or do you have a young team that's really going to need to get some of those skill sets developed? And, you look at Nebraska and you look at the veterans that they have, particularly on the back end, those guys have played a lot of football. And so you would believe that they can get in the phase and be able to do the things that they need to. Because the bottom line is you're trying to get these guys to opening week. And now with the 12-team playoff, you need to have so much more depth.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things that I'm noticing from teams that really have an opportunity to go deep. Look, everybody believes they do, but the reality is all of them don't. And you can tell the ones that do, and they have to continue to build that depth. I mean, you look at Ohio State, use them as an example of all the injuries they had on that offensive line last year. They were able to have younger guys and some other guys be able to step up and fill in. And I think, again, if you want to make a run deep into the playoffs so you can get there, you have to have young players or inexperienced players that you've seen, not only that you as a coaching staff have seen make plays, but you also need their teammates to know that they can make those plays, not just in practice, but also in game situations and not necessarily mop-up duty.
So after you spent some time in Lincoln, was it the depth that stood out to you that impressed you with the Huskers, or was there something else that stood out the most just from what you were seeing in practice or what you heard from the team?
Yeah, I think there is the veteran part of it, and then you see some of the veterans that they were able to go into the transfer portal and see some of those guys like Key didn't practice the day we were there, but I think he's going to be fine, and the coach said no big deal. But when they start to get some of those parts really rolling, that's what I mean. When you start to put this together, and the quarterback looks so much more comfortable. You feel in talking with him. He seems like he's more comfortable from a mental standpoint. Physically, he looks great. And listen, there's a lot of pressure on him to put up the numbers and lead this program last year, but he was still just a true freshman. And there was still so much of the game that he has to continue to learn and to develop with. And then you have the change during the season. Things seem to take off for him, but you still have to learn the game. You have to learn to play the game. You have to learn to be able to take care of your body. And as a true freshman, it's a lot of things flying at you. So to see him more relaxed in this environment, in this camp that we saw him, and also getting the opportunity to talk with him, he just feels more confident. And when you have a quarterback that has that type of confidence, not the arrogance part of it, but the confidence, and you see the other guys that are willing to follow and really willing to get on board, and you look at the offensive line, I really like just where they're going and how they're developing. Still got to go play those games. Still got to win the close games. But I think that's something that they have to get over. And as Coach Rhule talked about, listen, we point to all those close games, right? And he's been really clear. He said we probably weren't good enough. We probably got those games closer because, they may have been blowouts at the time and we were able to get back into them. But we need to be better, and he feels like this team is a lot better than they have been in the previous year.
I'm going to stay with the Huskers just for a sec before I go big picture. Last couple of weeks, I've been talking about are we just kind of gun shy as a fan base, where it's been a little bit of a sore spot up front in terms of what we've been able to do and accomplish the last handful of years. I actually think the offensive line, for the first time in a long time, is a position of strength. I think they're deep. I think they're big. They're strong. They're athletic. You got guys with game experience. Would HG, would you step out and say, hey, you know what? I think at Nebraska, the offensive line is a strength. Would you stand on that, 10 toes down?
Yeah, I would. I absolutely would. Because as you mentioned, you've been watching and living this for a long time. This is a much better line. And I think it also speaks to just how quickly you can change your fortunes in the transfer portal when you get the right guys back into your program and get those guys to gel as quickly as they can. I'll throw this at you. I was just at Purdue a couple of days ago.
Yeah, we were.
And this is a team that is totally – they've got 81 new guys on that roster right now. So, they have totally changed that around. But the offensive line, it looks like it may take them a little bit longer to gel. And that's going to be from every program. But it looks like Nebraska has hit their stride with a combination of what they have and what they've brought from the portal, that they're going to be ready to go. I know Emmett's excited to run behind that group. And talk about back, really watching him, the second half of the season and to be more involved in the pass game, I think he's going to be a true weapon for the Cornhuskers. Yeah.
So we've had a conversation earlier with Sam McKewon, talking to him about just, the importance of physicality when it came to that first Big Ten game against Michigan. Did you get the sense that Nebraska's physicality matches where their offensive line play is at? Because there's been a lot of talk.
Give and take,
a lot of local talk about the defensive line, offensive line, strengths of the team, that sort of stuff. But does the team have the overall physicality to match up in the Big Ten for the upcoming season?
Yeah, I think when you talk about physicality, that's also the way you play the game or the way the game is called, right? I think you can get into a situation where you want to take advantage and be able to throw it around and take advantage of matchups that you may have outside. But when you start talking about a team being physical, what's happening on first down? What does it look like? Can they line up and punch the team in the mouth that's across the ball, however, whether particularly in the run game, or what happens when it's 3rd and 2? What is your play call? What are some of the things you're looking at? Do you have an advantage? And those are things that, quite frankly, we're not going to know. We're not going to know that because one of the things that happens, too, during this, we rarely see ones versus ones. We really don't get an opportunity for that one day that we're floating in and supposed to know all that we need to know about a team. We don't get a chance to see that a lot of times. So it's you can see just how they're operating when they go 9 on 7. That's the physical part of a drill. You can find out the toughness there. I think when you go watch pass rush drills, you can see the physicality in those situations as well. But as you start to get away from the football, you don't necessarily see that unless it's good on good. And I think those are things, as we go back, we mentioned tackling, it's one of those things that we don't really get a great gauge for until that first game. And that's one of those situations where, when you're tackling, you're taking everybody to the ground, you might be able to get a better idea of that. But the fact, at least from where I sit, you really don't get a good idea of that until you start to get put in some of those game situations versus good.
Let me ask you something about perception, and we talked about this in the open, Howard, before we got you about perception, and I'm going to give you 3 teams, and only because I think the expectation level is the criteria is all different, right? You look at a team like SC, where I actually think they could be pretty good, but for as good as Lincoln Riley's been, he's not getting really the benefit of the doubt in the preseason. Michigan, a team that is replacing a ton, gonna play a pup at quarterback, is getting the benefit of the doubt in the preseason polls, even with an inexperienced head coach. And then Illinois, we know a ton. 18 starters back, Bielema, gap scheme, 3-year DC, 3-year OC, 3-year quarterback. I think we're a little hesitant to give them the benefit of the doubt. Why, when you look at criteria for perception, do you think we lack consistency? And let's just take those 3 teams.
Well, I think a lot of it goes into brand, right? I think you look at, if you're talking about Michigan, they've been there. They're a few years removed from winning a national title, and this is a team that's recruited well. And yes, it's a young head coach, but it feels like he's got a good grasp or a great grasp of where he wants this program to go. And I think when you've been a quote unquote team that's had that type of success in recent years, you get that benefit of the doubt. But I would say this: you asked a question earlier about sometimes fan bases are a little gun shy and they don't know if they want to be all in or not. This is where that shows up in the media as well. I mean, sometimes they're like, okay, yep, they look good. They're returning all of this talent, which is fair. That's fine. You've got that type of experience there. But now the question becomes, all right, what are they going to do? How is this going to operate, in between years? Are the players going to start feeling like they invented the game? Guys are making more money. How much is that going to become a factor? So I think it's just really human nature that if you haven't had that consistency, and when you talk about Illinois, it's a program that has not had that. It has not been able to have sustained consistency over years. And this is an opportunity for them to start that, building on what they did last year. And that's one of the things that happens. But when you have those teams that have been in the mix, whether it's Penn State, whether it's Michigan, Ohio State, and you talk about SC, you mentioned them, it is one of those situations where like it's been so tough. And then it's like, okay, well, they don't run the ball as well as they need to. You talk about physicality. You may not see that. They're not developing as quickly as you want. Then you say, okay, well, look, they haven't been killing it. Their best players in the state of California have been going everywhere else except for this class now. This class.
Yeah, that's incredible what he did. I don't know how it happened, but fudge.
It's like 31 kids he's got committed, and they're all high end players, and I'm guessing they're going to make a ton of money as well. But we've got a little salary cap that they've got to work with too. But so what is that perception, right? Defensively, they got so much better last year under Dannen. Can they continue to make that next step? They made some switches. The offensive coordinator, Lincoln Riley, is always going to call it, but they've made some switches there. So, what is it going to look like? So they've been down, and now people are just saying, I don't know. I'm not quite sure. Similar to Nebraska. I don't know. I'm not quite sure. They look talented, but I picked this team before, and they got me before in the past. So I'm just going to wait and see how they continue to build each and every week.
All right, Howard. So your conversation just about perception, it's got me thinking. So many times when we're in this preseason talk, we're in the middle of August, people always bring up the term surprise team. Who's going to be the surprise team? And it's always in a positive connotation. I'm curious your thoughts on both sides of it. Who would be the surprise team, or what would be the surprise team from maybe one of the Big Ten's front runners that may not perform up to what we think their standard is? And then what is maybe that Indiana from last year, or another team that could pop up?
That's a good one.
Well, you know what? I think it's interesting when you talk about what you expect them to do, and I think the team that is in that area that hasn't been before is Penn State. Penn State is expected, and people they're expecting to be in the championship game after what they built. Absolutely, even though what they've lost, but what they have coming back, and I think a lot of that has to do with what Michigan was able to do with a veteran football team, what Ohio State was able to do with a veteran football team. Now you look at Penn State and all the veterans that they were able to have come back into the program, and then the additions that they've been able to go out into the portal. Probably have the best-looking offensive line that we've seen. I was talking to Coach Nardo about it because I didn't see him. He's like, this is the best offensive line I've seen at Penn State in the 19 years we've been following them. So we see how long it's taken for James to really get that offensive line. But the expectation is national championship, and it doesn't look like they're shying away from it at all. Now, when you go the other way, I will tell you, this Indiana team, I mean, I know they got to take a step back. You would expect them to, but this is a good football team. Saw them a couple of days ago. They may be the surprise. They may be the surprise Indiana of Indiana from a year ago. They could be there, but obviously Illinois is a team that's out there. There's a lot of praise and hype about what Nebraska does, especially Coach Rhule in the third year. Will they be able to turn the corner? This is what I do know. You better have a quarterback that can at least get you there. And they do. It's no question Newton can take them as far as they can go, but he's got to have help too. He's got all the tools to be, that elite quarterback that can lead his team into the playoffs. And that's what you need. So I think it starts there. So I think Nebraska has to be in that conversation. Indiana's going to be in that conversation again. Illinois is going to be there. This Minnesota team is going to be a little tricky too. They're going to be pretty good.
I agree. People are so mad at me, Howard, for hyping up Minnesota.
They're not the 11th best team in the conference every time I see that. I
know Coach Collins. I know how they recruit. I know what they recruit. Minnesota is going to be a thorn for somebody that takes a little too long to blink.
Yep. This is the team that you know they're going to be well coached. PJ has done an unbelievable job, at Minnesota, and his coaches do a great job as well. I tell you this. I'll go out on this limb, and I'll throw this little curveball at you. Jonah Coleman from Washington.
Yeah, he's the dude.
He might be the best running back in the conference.
And he's got a dynamic quarterback and a good coach in Washington.
Really underrated coach.
No doubt about it. That Jonah Coleman looks so much quicker this year. Seeing some of the clips coming out of practice than he did last year. He's tough to tackle. You mentioned a dynamic quarterback. I think they'll be so much better on defense because they have, Marion Walters, who was in Purdue, is now, their DC. So they've got some athletes out there, no question about that. So that's another one of those teams that could be in the mix as well.
And I think he's a pretty underappreciated coordinator in Brewster in Iowa City. Did a good job with them last year in year one. If I'm anti-Iowa, could I talk you into, man, if they get good quarterback play, they might not know what to do with it and self-destruct? Or is it, I don't know, man. They get good quarterback play. We know they're going to be good up front. I love their offensive line. Yeah. Gronowski's a winner. My buddy coached him up at SDSU. Is that a team where you think then when you talk about quarterback play?
Yeah, when you think about that team, right, what's held them back? Was held them back the last couple of years, or forget that. Even when they went to the championship game, they were able to figure that thing out too, to be able to get there. So again, you talk about a team that's going to be well coached, will peak at the right times. That's been one of those teams that over the 19 years, I really haven't cared what they look like when we happen to see them on that one day. It really didn't matter because Coach Ferris is going to have them ready to go. So it'll be interesting. DiNardo and those guys are down there watching them this morning practice, so it'll be real interesting to see just how far along that team has become, particularly offensively. That's where all the questions have always been, and they're going to continue to be as long as they don't get the great quarterback play that they need. But they went into the portal, so we'll see how that shakes out.
Howard, have you thought about just how many question marks are still kind of circling around the conference when it comes to just like individual positions and players? Because we're still waiting to officially hear Ohio State's quarterback. We're still officially waiting to hear if Oregon's going to go with Dante Moore, and some of these, waiting for just the official confirmation of what a lot of people assume. But it seems like these are bigger deals than what I think a lot of people are making. They're kind of putting some of these younger quarterbacks, younger talented players into big name conversations, and it feels like we need to get past that first step before we can put the crown on them already.
Well, I say this. I wouldn't necessarily say we'd be crowning them, but I think you look at some of the younger quarterbacks that have an opportunity to lead their programs. You look at, whether it's Washington, whether, it's UCLA getting their things done there. I think Oregon, there's so much that surrounds them as far as talented athletes. To me, we were traveling, I guess it was last week, and I was thinking about some of those questions, and you talk about the quarterback. To me, this may be as deep a quarterback year as we've had with, whether it's been 14 or 18 with our Big Ten schools. I mean, if the young guys play to their potential or even half of that, I mean, there's going to be some exciting football played, and I don't think that we really had that. I know you mentioned, Ohio State. I think Ohio State is an interesting one too, because you have some of these young quarterbacks, and you sit there and you say, well, there's really no need for them to necessarily make a decision. And then you think about, Ohio State playing Texas early. That's something they're probably going to hold this thing off
with
to the
two
end.
new coordinators. Yeah,
exactly. Where they're probably going to hold this thing off to the end. To me, the bigger story at Ohio State is what Brian Hartline's able to do as the offensive coordinator.
Couldn't agree more.
To me, because he's been in that spot before. And listen, you all grow. You have to grow into a position and understanding how to call plays and when to call plays. Because the truth is, we all could call them because we do a great job of doing it when we're sitting in front of our television. But the challenge is when you're on that sideline, is when to call those right plays. And, it'll be interesting, obviously, to have another – he's had a couple of years. He had a year under Chip Kelly, continuing to stay with Ryan Day. What he's learned, we know what type of competitor he is, but we still need to see it out on the football field. So that's going to be that to me is the biggest storyline, bigger than who the starting quarterback is, because the starting quarterback at Ohio State that first year they become the starter. Even if they're not a transfer type guy, it's always been rough.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they were ready to run C.J. Stroud out the building.
J.T. Barrett couldn't get any love early.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I don't know that there's been a starting quarterback that has gotten love early at Ohio State. You might have to go back to Terrell Pryor, to guys that they were just excited about and never said much, never weren't excited about him. But it's always something, and that's part of playing the position in some of these big time programs. Get back to your question, they still have to go out and prove it. Yep. All these young quarterbacks, as talented as we believe that they can be and what we think they can add to the offense, they still have to go out and be able to lead the team, not turn the football over, and be able to get their teams into good situations if a bad play is called.
Last one for me, Howard. Let me give you context too. Relative to light competition, right? I get it that Coach Lanning has earned the benefit of the doubt because he wins double-digit games. For Oregon to do what they do, we know how they've recruited. He doesn't have a Gabriel. He doesn't have a Nix, right? You're not relying on the 70,000 starts. Is there something that Lanning for you has to prove in-game versus light competition that you think he's either motivated by or the Duck fans want to see? Or is Oregon now officially just become plug and play with Lanning?
Well, we'll have to see, right? Because I think the most important part is you mentioned, two elite quarterbacks that he had in the college game. You could probably make an argument that they'll both, at some point in time, be in the College Football Hall of Fame, just from what they've been able to accomplish. This is a different scenario. This is a young player that has had a lot of hype around him for a long time. Can he deliver? We know what else. We know that they've done a great job recruiting. We know that they've been able to put the right pieces in place. It's no question that these guys are motivated. I'm talking about the Oregon team. He does a great job of motivating them and getting them ready to play. So I don't know if it's so much to prove, but I think people just want to know, okay, what do you do without a quarterback? It's just one of those natural questions that comes up. Do you have what are you able to adapt? Can you develop a guy? Because you've had a guy that's been sitting there, had an opportunity to learn. Is he ready to take the next step? So, I think that's kind of the situation with Dan Lanning, because I think we all would agree he does a great job of handling his team and putting them in position to win. And the motivation part, he's pretty good at that as well. And obviously recruiting for him has been off the charts.
All right, that's Howard Griffith of the Big Ten Network. Thanks for joining us today. Appreciate it, and especially the rundown. How many more camps do you have got left? What do you got?
So me personally, I have 3 left. I go to Champaign in the morning, get a chance to see those guys, and then I've got Michigan State. Yeah. So I don't get to make it out to the West Coast this year. So hopefully I can get out there and see them during the season at some point.
Well, that's the time you want to be on the West Coast, though, right? Like, you don't want to go now.
I got some questions on Michigan State. I think the fan base didn't understand that they hired a really, really good coach. They scare me a little. They still may be a year away, but I don't doubt John Smith's coaching prowess. That's for sure.
This is going to take some time.
Yeah,
it's going to take some time. Aiden Childs, I think, is the right guy for them at quarterback. He struggled obviously a little bit more later in the season. We talked about some of the interceptions, taking care of the football. But I really do like where they're going. He is an outstanding coach. But I think it's so hard, and I think that's one of the challenges that we all have when we look at our fan base. When you look at what Coach Cincinnati was able to do at Indiana, and if you're a program that's trying to build, you now say, okay, well, you can, or you see Colorado, you can go into the portal, you can change your team really quickly. I'll leave you guys with this. I think Barry Odom is an unbelievable coach, and he does a great job of teaching. But you're talking about a program that when Ryan Walters came in, he flipped the roster. He's had to flip it again last year. It didn't work out. Now 81 new. I mean, so it's not always an exact science as well. You still, for most of the programs out there, have to build and try to build that consistency and make sure they're bringing the right people in to do it. And I think one of the things that's happened, we saw Indiana have so much success. Forget about talking about what their schedule looked like. But you look at how to bring a team together and making sure you pick the right people to bring into the program and lead the program. I mean, Kirsten, that's the reason they're paying him, $9-10 million now to coach their program. So it'll be fun to see what they're able to do this year as well.
Hopefully we can just stop Googling him like he asked us to last year. I'm good.
There you go.
Appreciate you, big fella.
All right, y'all take care, man. Enjoy the rest of the week.
Thanks, Howard.
It's a long week.
Yes, sir.
It's just Monday.
Thanks.
All right, guys.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, Howard. That was Howard Griffith, the Big Ten Network, joining us. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Always good to get a look around the conference. We're just itching to get back. I'm ready.
I am. So I have yet to hear a national guy not back me on Minnesota. I have yet to hear a national guy not back me on Washington either. I know. I remember. I am curious about the varying opinions on Indiana.
I'm curious too, especially with Howard. They're saying that they could be the surprise again. Mendoza's interesting.
So people that follow him, our guys over at Peags, think the roster's better than a year ago.
Yeah.
Now,
I mean, listen, you turn it over that often.
You do have to go play, but
yeah. Guys, I can't stop looking at Washington's schedule. Yes, they get Ohio State in their Big Ten opener, but you look at the rest, there's a good chance they're 6-1 going into that Michigan week.
They get some teams coming off their bye too, but we've kind of proven that there's a little bit of a myth buster when it comes to handling buys.
Yep. Maybe we'll get some film breakdown coming next. Who knows? We'll see.
See what happens.
We'll
Flip a coin.
That's Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Centris Federal Credit Union. More is coming next.
A successful financial future is built one coin at a time. Whether you're just starting out or a seasoned saver, we've got the financial resources and team of experts who will be with you every step of the way. Centris Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
Most encouraging thing that you saw from some of the younger players today?
Just their confidence, and when they got the ball, usually something positive happened, and if it didn't, then their body language and their communication was still really mature for freshmen, or Virginia, who's not a typical freshman, but she's still is. She's new here, so just really impressed with their overall maturity and confidence.
Did you get what you wanted to out of today?
Sure. Of course, it'd be nice to walk away from here and be like, oh, this was obvious. So-and-so should start, or, this person played great under pressure. But we wanted to have a lot of even teams and have a competitive game. And, we did that. And we saw some players step up in big moments, which was great. But it also showed a few things we have to work on, and that hopefully will be better in the alumni match next week.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live. We are presented by Centris Federal Credit Union and Dingman's Collision Center. What sets Dingman's apart from all the other competitors across the metro area, locally and family-owned and operated? They've been a trusted name in collision repair in Omaha for almost 30 years, and they invest in cutting-edge technology and ongoing training so the team can make sure every repair is done safely and to the highest standard.
Ding.
I love the ding. It's perfect.
Me too.
Thank you, Shane. Let's get some callers on the line here. We got Jack wanting to talk a little Nebraska football. Jack, how are we doing today?
All right.
Golden voice. What's up, buddy?
Close. We are getting close. These Nebraska folks living down here in Tennessee, they've been texting me about their tailgates. And everybody's getting ready. So here we go.
I love it.
So do you, listen, outside of Nebraska, is there a lot of people like Vandy as a dark horse, to be a spoiler. Tennessee's got pressure. Like, what's around you, what's the buzz?
I'll be honest with you. Where I live in a deal where there's like 20, there's not that many. There's about 12 houses, and we're all on 2-acre lots.
Oh, that's perfect for you.
The street from Minnesota. My neighbor, the neighbor next to me is from Illinois. The one on the other side's from Michigan. The one on the other side's from Ohio. So and there's nobody from Tennessee lives out here. So I don't talk much Tennessee to anybody really. I'll be honest with you.
How'd you find the spot when you moved last year? How'd you find? I know why you moved. How'd you find it?
We couldn't find a place that we wanted to build.
Yeah.
And my wife told me, well, let's drive out to this estate deal where they're selling these big lots. And we drove in, and I looked around. I said, this is it. This is where we're going to build a house. And we bought a lot, bought one of the deals, and built a house. Been in it about 3 weeks.
Yeah. So you saw space and peace of mind, didn't you?
I did, and I can see the mountains good from here, and I'm not covered up in trees, so I'm doing all right.
All right. What do we got?
All right, here we go. If the one thing that I've noticed about Nebraska the last couple of years on the defensive line, that I think for them to have success this year, they've got to be a lot better on third down defensively. Have to be. I think they were in the high 30s last year nationwide, and they got to get at least in the 20s somewhere. If they want to win the number of games they want to win. And a lot of that's from pressure.
Mm-hmm.
The last couple of years, about all you ever see are bull rush. And when somebody was going to blitz, like Griffith or Bullock or somebody, you could see it setting up before the ball's ever snapped.
Mm-hmm.
And usually they were getting picked up. What I'm hoping is I would like to see more stunts. I would like to see a lot. I think they're going to be athletic enough to have a lot more movement in the front seven than we've had in the past. And I think put the pressure that they want to put on people, I tend to think they're going to have to be able to do a lot more of that than they are that straight bull rush thing. It's pretty obvious every time that, there's not many tells in that.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts?
I agree with you. I think a lot of what they want to do, Jack, is it'll be predicated on confusion, right? They may show 5, they may show 6, they may show from one side and come to the other. I think they're going to be a little bit more creative in their pressure packages, Jack, because a lot of times they showed blitz. They still only came with 5, right? And when you only bring 5 rushers for 5 pass protectors, you got to win your individual matchups. So this year, I think they'll be a little bit different in terms of being able to not only win those, but also the looks, right, to kind of help with confusion. You maybe want a bad line call or to slide the wrong way or to move one way. So I think they'll be significantly more creative. Now, whether it's effective or not remains to be seen, but I do think you'll see there'll be a lot more multiple in their pre-snap looks.
Well, I hope so. I hope we get a lot of movement. And the other thing too is I love Nebraska. I love the way we always got to have something to be wringing our hands about, and now it's tackling. You know, for weeks it was tackles, now it's tackling. But I just got a feeling with this coaching staff, everything in the next couple of weeks, tackling's going to be just fine.
Yep,
I agree.
I'll talk to you guys later.
Appreciate.
Have a good rest of your day, boys.
Appreciate it, Jack.
Bye.
Enjoy that piece. Boy, one house, 2 acres.
Yeah.
Everybody split.
Not bad.
Only
live on a compound.
My only question would be,
I get tired.
he's the GOAT. I remember the first time he called. This is probably a year ago.
Yep.
Longer than that. I was like, that voice.
The golden voice.
Jack, you might need my job.
I get tired.
I wonder how often he has to go to the grocery store.
So my older brother lived in Tennessee, did grad school out the Vols there for a minute.
I'd rather have
And-
a sister working at a house of ill repute than have a brother that goes to the University of Texas.
Ill repute cuts code for brothel.
But he lived.
Do they say
on
that anymore?
The brothel?
Yeah.
I haven't used the term brothel in a while.
I watch a lot of
Working
restaurants.
at a house of ill repute.
That'll forever be one of the lines. Jack is wild.
Yeah, I do like Jack.
No, he's
But
great.
My brother was living in Tennessee. He was living on actually somebody's land because someone was just like, hey, I just need someone to live in this like side house that is on like my acreage of whatever farmland or something. He's like, that's fine, whatever else.
Is that what they call it in the 2000s, side houses?
I guess, something like that.
Yeah.
And well, he thought it was like, you know,
I didn't say it as a joke, dummy. It's traumatizing.
he thought it
I'd
was
rather
like
have
a
sister working
Jeez.
at a house of ill repute.
He thought it was like gonna be, you know, like a guest house or just a small. It was a legit shed with like a cot in it. He was like, "This is your place.
Yeah.
Enjoy it. Like, have fun."
Who'd you think used to utilize that facility in
That's
history?
a good question. That's a good question.
I got a
Do you
good.
know who he my brother would actually run into?
Who's that?
So he owns a greyhound. So he'd throw the ball with the greyhound like at the dog park.
Yeah.
Old ball coach
Really, Spurrier?
all the time.
Really?
He'd just run into him. He'd be like, "What are you doing out here?"
So I got a good buddy, Tom Thompson, whose brother Dean. He's since moved, but similar concept.
Yeah.
He was off the grid in Tennessee and got some property and kind of self-sustaining.
Mhm.
That wasn't isolated enough. Made one more move, and they pretty much do everything. Grow their stuff, their own water. Like, and when you Google Dean Thompson in terms of Nebraska basketball, the Pantheon, hoopers, he and Tom. I'm like, Tom, why? He just wanted to get away from people. I
Yeah.
was like, must be rough. I would have to. This is the guy that has a dozen. You know, like I like my eggs.
Right.
I like my own beef.
Yeah.
I'm very particular.
No, that
but
guy was sitting outside. He asked me, he was like, "DB gonna be here soon?" I was like, "I'm hoping so." Like you and me both, man.
So his cousin has like farm fresh eggs.
Yeah, 20 county guy out here too. I was shocked.
Oh man, I try to broaden my horizons, but
That's good.
I've become. I don't know. You know what I go to the grocery store for? Like
Meat,
no. I
No?
almost don't buy any meat in the grocery store.
farm to table. You go straight there.
Pretty much. It's things like
I'd set you up with some Jacobsen cows. We could do that.
it's things. Oh,
Come from Bo. It'd have to travel, but you know we'd get there.
I don't know. What do I like? Cooking spray, maybe if I even use that, or coconut
Seasonings.
oil.
I go for seasonings.
I
yeah.
have so if you have a good sorting system, HBO, you need to help your boy out because I have things that get lost.
Yeah.
That I'm like, there's got to be a better way to organize.
I do the step organization.
Do you?
You know, where I keep everything eye level when it comes to like my spices, seasonings, all that stuff, and I get the little. I think they're actually just like makeup containers. I just like put them on top of that, so I can see them all. I can see labels, and they're looking back at me.
Huh.
That way, nothing's falling over and nothing's stacked behind it. I'm not because my problem is I'm buying extras, like
My
garlic powder,
mother-in-law,
onion powder.
she's got a great sorting system, and it like spends. And I don't
Oh,
know if
like a
she
Lazy
does.
Susan?
I don't know if it's like by alphabetical order, but you can see everything.
Yeah.
I bet you there's over 60 bottles.
Yeah. My aunt's got a good one. She's got like those paper towel rolls that have like the glass covers on them that you can open up.
Oh,
rip
yeah.
one. She replaced that and just filled it with all of her like little
Oh,
plastic spice bottles.
She's creative.
And so she can see them all, spin it around, open the container, and then she can take it out and put it back in.
My buddy, our bigwig at the car dealership, Heath, that you met.
Oh yeah,
Friday.
yeah.
He's got an assortment that he just used a pantry shelf, and they're just in a line,
Just
like
lined them.
tall, short. So one's a little shorter, so you
okay.
can see everything, and it's, I don't know, it's a good 4 feet.
That's a lot of spice.
Oh, I'll send you a few screenshots. Like it's I'm mixing now. I don't need like 3 chili powders, 2 smoked paprikas, 2, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I like to try, some guys like Holy Cow or Meat Church or Heath Bryles, or
Yeah.
I'll try them all.
You should have seen at Pinnacle Bank Championship. They had a little volunteer tent, media room, all that stuff. They actually had great food out there.
How about how
One of the
quick
days-
the food went in our hospitality tent?
Oh,
I
oh,
couldn't,
yeah.
and I was only there 2. I
No.
mean, what was that, 2 to 4?
People were acting like it was the end of days out there. That was crazy.
And it was way better than the schedule. Because,
Oh,
like I
yeah.
said, I got there at 2:10. I left at 4. And the schedule said snacks here. And I was
Yep.
like, okay, there's around at 2. There's going to be around at 3. There were 2.
Mhm.
They kept refilling stuff.
Yeah.
And it was just getting smashed.
Mm-hmm.
I was like,
I watched the lady pick up I think it was Friday or Saturday. She picked up like the box of like party pizza and just took it out with her. What a move!
that is.
I wish I had that confidence to be like, I don't care what anyone. If there's a worker yelling at me, bring it back. I'm not doing it.
I watched a couple of guys on the charcuterie board with the deli meats.
Yeah.
He like used his hand and he like shook off he like waved it in the air, like shook it off, and it fell. And I was like, yeah, see, that's why I don't do that. It's not potluck, it's pot wish you luck. It's like, who's doing that? But I mean, people are smoked.
Right, yeah.
You see people eat
They
the
don't know.
you see people eat the chilled shrimp. Like, how
Dude.
bougie is it if you have chilled shrimp at in the hospitality
They
tent?
had those snack bags of chips and stuff. That looked like a college frat house at a moment.
The-
I saw one guy take one, just handful, gouge it, throw it to the side, open up another, go for the second. It was insane.
Shout out to Mouth of the South, but man, these guys.
Did you see that Greek glizzy that I ate?
No.
The hot dog?
What I'm gonna need you and Ravi to stop saying though is glizzy.
What's wrong with glizzy? Come with the times, man.
Okay. So you know where glizzy came from, right?
No, enlighten me.
Our kids are in school. It basically was a term that people would use to describe
Can I pet that dog?
exactly. And we've got guys using this to describe just regular hot dogs. I'm gonna need you guys to stop using the term glizzy.
All right.
Okay.
That is how it was put on the menu. It quite literally said GG on there.
I'm gonna.
Now, because I respect you, I won't bring it up.
I'm just telling you, like the whole derivation thing. I feel like you ought to know.
Hey,
what was on it?
They had a little bit. So they put the tzatziki on, had some like red chili on there. Pretty good.
Really?
Yeah.
With the
Really
tzatziki
good.
sauce?
Yeah, and then they I think they put some of that just like Greek meat on there too. It was good.
Oh, I could eat Euro meat. I mean,
It's great.
I'm notorious.
Mhm. Every once in a while, when I go to cover something at Creighton, they'll have the Euro bowls. Incredible.
There's 3
That's why I
places
go
in
back.
particular, depending on where I am in the city. It's the same order: 3 sides of Euro meat, 3 pitas. 2 of the places have spicy tzatziki sauce,
Yep.
so it's got the orange hue to it.
See, I haven't had any
and
spicy yet.
And I eat it open face. I shred cheese. Yes, I use cheese, and it's not feta. And I pour the drizzle, and I eat it with just like a pizza.
Yeah.
It's
fantastic.
I put it in my scrambled eggs. I think Euro meat is fantastic,
Mhm.
but I love lamb. Death row, I'm getting chops.
Sorry, I just had an anchor man.
Not lamb.
I was like, what did you just say?
No, you're exactly right.
I know, Sat. I'm glad somebody's got my back. By the way, his tight ends look good, don't they?
Oh, yeah. I'm always impressed. And I'll credit you with this. You got me off of the what is Sat doing here train, right? To maybe he's not earning enough of the credit he deserves.
Yeah.
Because the ultimate key of a room, right, when it comes to position groups, is the confidence you have not only in yourself to perform when you're on the field, but the performance of the others around you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's entirely out there that the most confident room in terms of confident guys on the team, they might be in that tight end room.
And
those dudes ride for each other.
And certainly competent.
Yes.
Like
they lost guys.
Yeah.
They lost an NFL draft pick. They lost another guy who's trying to be one, left to go to A&M. And they brought a guy in. He's, dealing with his injury right now. But you look at the Lindenmeyer, Harburg, Ingerson, they're still going to be confident.
Yeah, it's a good group. It's a good group. And plus, he's loyal, number one, and he goes to work every day. There's a certain level of appreciation for guys that help your boat not take on water. Mm-hmm. And Sat was that guy. I've said this 2,000 times, right? You don't get Nebraska's life today without Coach Sat in it.
Yep.
You can't pick and choose and separate the two.
Well, and you go back
why
to
OC had its own set of challenges. How about him just modeling the culture where you get demoted, you go to work every day, you didn't take the money and run.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you went to work.
Yeah.
Every day, and you never changed. You think you can't look at that guy and say, well, such and such can't. No, he did it.
Mm-hmm.
And he kept coming to work.
Yep.
And he had a million reasons why he shouldn't have.
Well, then how about, too,
or didn't have to.
The commentary we've heard from people around him that are still there. Dana talking, I think it was a Big Ten crew a couple days ago, and they asked him about the transition, when did the call come, all that stuff. And he never threw Satterfield under the bus, never talked about the offense underperforming. He just said it was a little too complicated. I was brought in to hone the vision in.
So when I talked to him in New York, and Ramon, stay right there. When I talked to him in New York, and we were talking about, he had carte blanche. He could have done anything he wanted to offensively. He was like, the clash, should I stay or should I go, right? And one of the things that he appreciates and likes about Satterfield, not only is his work ethic, but because he said you could just tell that he has a very good working relationship with Coach Raiola.
Yep.
And he said, when you want to use tight ends like you do in our offense, sometimes as a 6th or 7th lineman, they've got to get out in our RPO game. He said there's nothing. He's like, we got our guy.
Yeah.
Like he said it's unique. And he told me, he's like, you don't always get that. And I was like, oh, I know. Trust me. I'm like, sometimes you can't even get running back coaches and offensive line coaches to be on the same page. It's always the other guy's fault. Or if they would have done this, then they could have done. Like, I get it. And so for him to talk about just his sense of loyalty for the brand and how knowledgeable he is with getting guys competent, he's like, it's no brainer.
Sometimes you got to go through growing pains, right?
Yeah, no brainer.
Let's get Ramon on. Wrap up here.
The all right then, silky voice. What Razor Ramon? What's up, buddy?
What's up? I've just been doing work and dad stuff, which is not nearly as sexy as it sounds.
Work and dance.
Did you say dance? What kind of dance are we talking here?
No, I said dad.
Oh,
stuff.
dad stuff. Okay, those could be the same depending on what type of dad you are.
A couple of years ago,
I did do the dad-daughter dance, so you can put them together.
That uttered the great phrase 2 years ago: when you're married, you're never, ever quite out of trouble. You're one bad decision away.
So I keep dating.
Yeah.
Isn't that what it was, Ramon?
You're never really in the clear.
Yeah.
Was the thing. Yeah. And the thing is, David, that situation was just as simple and straightforward as he just forgot how long they'd been married, and it changed the whole mood.
Well, you weren't off by multiple years, though. That was one of the funniest calls ever, because I think every guy understood what you were saying. It was clear. Never ever quite in the clear. Was it supposed to be 14 and you said 10? Then that's probably a problem.
He didn't say a number. He just was hesitating, and her mood just went downhill immediately. Those things don't have to happen. You got all you relationship people out there. It's how you react.
Yeah. E plus R equals O. I've watched a lot of bad television since we last talked, Ramon. So it's good to hear from you. I'm a guy that's fallen into a lot of 5, 4, and I watched a show called Adolescence that was 4 episodes, and I had nerve enough to be mad that they skipped 17 months at a time. Yeah, they would do like 7 months later, 17 months later, and I was like, okay, this is too short.
Yeah, I'm watching a show. We could show the show.
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
I'm probably an 8-episode guy. 8 episodes, 42 minutes. What do we got, Ramon?
If you want to really dive in for the long haul, Bosch total is 11 seasons if you include Ballard. But it's not even the genre I'm into. It's a detective show. But it's still one of my favorite shows ever just because it's so well done.
I love detective shows.
Oh, have you heard of Bosch?
I have. But so is it have you seen Mindhunters?
Mindhunters, only a little bit, not much. Okay. I don't even know much about it.
What about like Ray Donovan?
I know about it, but I haven't seen it. Like I haven't really watched a lot of things lately.
Okay.
But that's the one I've been into. I started watching Bosch years ago, but it's just, and the thing is, the character development changes so much over time. It's like it's own world, really.
So is there such a thing, and you're into the terminology, is there such a thing as is Bosch a good guy?
He is a good guy, but he'll do bad things to get the job done.
Okay.
And it kind of makes you ask yourself, sometimes you're rooting against people trying to do the right thing because it's getting in Bosch's way.
Just let him do this. Hey,
Ramon, you kind of got the voice that you should be doing the voiceover for the show. You got me convinced.
So full disclosure, the first time he called, the first time he called, I told Shane, I said, get that guy back. I just want to hear him talk. And then turns out we're in the district together. So I was like, oh, all right, we could be boys.
Yeah.
All right, so I got a couple of questions, Ramon, before I let you go. Did you watch Paradise?
I did watch Paradise. I enjoyed that show. Even though it was weird, I enjoyed it. I thought it was. What'd you think?
Listen, that's the one show I always use to myself to say, hang in there. After episode 2, spoiler alert, where I learned about the concept being in the mountains and all that, I was like, this is going to be the hokiest thing I've ever seen. I turned it off. I came back to it a couple of days later, and I thought it was fantastic. I almost quit though.
So what made you come back to it?
Because I like Sterling.
Okay.
And I kept seeing it pop up on my TikTok, and I was like, am I missing something? Because there's some shows I haven't gone back to. Like I never went back to The Wire. There's just some shows I didn't come back to. I didn't come back to Peaky Blinders after season 4.
Yeah, I get that. I know some people who Paradise is one of those, you probably either like it a lot or you don't like it at all. I don't think it's you thought it was okay type of show.
You got any more for me that I need to watch on the quick run? You saw Silo, right?
No, I didn't see Silo.
So I got a guy that rides with you on Black Mirror too. He talks about it all the time, and I said my buddy got me to watch episode 1. I couldn't even get through it.
Yeah, that's a tough first episode. That's a very tough first episode.
It was weird.
No, it's more than weird. It's
And didn't you warn me, Ramon? You said just make it past episode 1 and you're in the clear, right? Did you tell me that?
Yeah, well, I was saying don't let anyone tell you what it's about and what happened.
Yeah.
Because it's a friend of mine. It's actually a very unassuming woman who we've been friends since elementary school. Told me about it, and she said, "Don't watch any trailers or anything. And she's a really nice lady. And so I would have this impression that it'd be something kind of mild. And I couldn't believe it. It's like, who are you?
Yeah. If you don't really know someone and they're
Oh,
like,
you're
hey,
in on it too?
Yeah, listen, if you don't really know someone and they're like episode 1 Black Mirror, you got to watch it. Like it's your type of show. If you don't know that person that well, you got to be worried about that type of person. Like you got.
So
be
you like
concerned.
the show too?
No, I don't like the show. No, I watched like the first 2 seasons because other people were telling me how good it gets. It never got good for me. I hated it. I couldn't keep watching it. I turned it off, and I still get people asking me if I'm going to keep watching. No, I'm not.
My
Not
guy
going
Yuri,
back.
he's been telling me to watch this show. At least since it's been out. So was that 4 years maybe?
I think longer.
Well, Black Mirror's been
Yeah.
out a long
Yeah,
time.
it's been out for.
I don't even remember how long it's been out, but yeah, it's been out quite a while, like 08 or so.
Listen, it was Saturday morning about 8:00 in the winter.
2011.
And I'm like, these guys are nuts. I think severe, like I'm like, why are you guys in on this show? I can't even understand it.
Yeah.
Is this like a 7th dimension? And that lady's weird. Why? Like, there's no way.
And I actually understand you. I understand people who don't like it. That's what's so wild, because I like it, but I know why other people don't, and I can relate to why they don't. But for some reason, I do. So
I don't know, man. I can I just skip episode 1 and get it?
I think, I mean, the other ones aren't as harsh, but they're still in the same ballpark. So if you don't like it,
I'm not like Friar Tuck, but I just don't like. That's like weird.
Yeah.
What's wrong with Friar Tuck?
Yeah.
I just meant pie. You know,
That's just a crazy pull.
I don't know. I'm a big Robin Hood guy.
I just like Johnny Pig in chat says DB has Shark Week on repeat, which I can't hate someone who watches 52 weeks of Shark Week.
Does he not understand how great sharks are? Yes, you're right. You're right,
the best
JP.
week. The best week.
I've watched some bad shows, Ramon. Some bad shows.
If you guys like Lance Reddick, R.I.P., man, that was a great actor. If you like him, you'll like Bosch.
Okay.
I'm on it.
I do like Lance.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, Ramon.
All right, you guys.
Thanks, buddy. So I have started a couple good shows because of him.
Good.
Yeah, I've known him forever, but yeah,
2 golden voices in the same half hour. How great is
look
that?
at
Yeah, all we're missing is
Triple L to start.
Greg in Myrtle Beach. he and Art. We get. Oh, and Don Juan. We've had some doozies.
Yeah.
I mean, I just
you got Michigan Lance on Friday, so you're just getting all your callers out early.
I just like the voices. That's what it is.
All right, Ravi will be back again tomorrow. Fingers crossed. DB will be back in after I'm in. Yeah, we're just gonna have a rotating door. You get to pick your host for tomorrow.
It'll be like a triple team.
Yeah, we'll make it work. I'm Action Jackson. That's DB. Shane. This has been Hurrdat Sports Live. We'll see you again tomorrow.
See you. Have a good day. Love you.